difficult for for everyone to hear.
For growing their team, right?
For growing their team.
100%.
Yes.
Okay. Well, hey guys, I get to go first. My name is Brooke Horton. I am a fashionista leader and two-time Black Diamond consultant, going for Pink Diamond this year. We've already hit Black, so we're on our way. I have been with Paparazzi for 3 years now. My team is a little over 450 people, and I have a little over 100 personally sponsored. So I would say we're relatively small on the team side of things, but they're rocking, like they're doing amazing things. So I feel like even though we're pretty small, we're a powerhouse, and I love my team a lot. But just some little things about growing that I would say is, first of all, you have to be present. So that comes in selling and that comes in leadership. The more present you are in
Sorry. Yeah, I just thought they had just put it, sorry, just so that you do pop to the front. They're just asking if you can raise your virtual hand so you'll get pinned to the top. That will move you up so they can all see you when you're talking.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry, I just wanted them to be able to see you.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, so being present. So what I noticed when my team really started taking the shift of growing, because in the month of October, we grew by 46 people in 1 month. And 13 of those were personally sponsored to me. What I noticed was the more present we were, so live selling, the more our team took a big spurt in growth. So you have to be present. Wait, is there somebody that cannot see me to change your view to speaker view? Okay, that's not for me though. Am I still good? Like you guys can see me okay? Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out.
Okay. So you have to be present. That is the number one thing. For me personally, I've been live. Today will be 305 days in a row. And the minute that I started that, and I noticed a change in my algorithm, more people began to find me. The more people that began to find me, the more people heard about the opportunity. My sales increased, my viewers increased, but my team recruiting increased too, because I utilize every time I'm live to speak about the blessing. This has been a blessing to all of us. In some form or fashion, we're all here for a purpose. And if you're not telling everyone about this opportunity, then you're definitely cutting yourself short. You're depriving someone from hearing about this opportunity. Some people really want to be a part of what you're doing. They're either too scared to ask, or they don't even know. I literally had someone say one day, I'd like to join your team, but is it full? And I had never even thought in my mind that people may think her team is full. And so that really opened my eyes to, oh my goodness, like people truly don't even realize that they can join us at any time and be a part of such an amazing company. So you have to be present. That is number one. I really feel like, yes, there are multiple ways to sell the jewelry, obviously, but you're not going to make those connections with people if you're not going live, because it's a relationship. You are building a relationship. And when you show up and you take your business seriously, then they trust you and take you seriously to be their leader. So that is just a little tidbit on recruiting. But once you are a leader, I fully believe being present with your team is important. I have created a personally sponsored messenger chat, which is specifically for my personally sponsored. March will be our 3rd month of Crown Club 50, and then we will be a Crown Club 50 team. I'm so excited. So we have secured our 2 months. We're going on our 3rd. And what I feel like changed in that is that I took Summer's advice in making those phone calls. Yes, it takes time. It does. But if you will block time out of your schedule, making one-on-one phone calls to your team is massive. They feel noticed. They feel valued. You're able to connect with them more personally than just in like your team page or your messenger chat. So I highly recommend making those phone calls. And you can honestly start it with, hey girl, I have 15 minutes. I'm so excited to hear about what's going on. So you're setting a time frame for them, because we all know some phone calls could be much longer than that. And then you spend your whole day, talking on the phone. And not to be ugly, but we don't have that time, right? If you're going to try to call multiple people, you can't spend 5 hours in a day on the phone with one person. So making those one-on-one phone calls with them, letting them know, I'm here, I'm present, I'm happy to help. What do you got going on? What goals do you have? How can I help you achieve those? So I started making those very intentionally, making those one-on-one phone calls. I started the personally sponsored messenger chat, and I'm very active in that. And I keep them in the loop on all the things. So like, hey girls, we're at 40 personally sponsored. We just need 10 more. Okay, let's go. And so it took my personally sponsored, and now they are collectively working together for a goal, because together we can achieve more, right? So I feel like when you're more active with your personally sponsored in like a messenger chat or a specific group, that is going to help you tremendously with growth in the Crown Club aspect, or just even in ranking and helping them learn leadership. So in my personally sponsored, I now have Brittany Gray is on here with me. She hit director in like one day, because I said, listen, you just need 2 to hit director. And she came back and said, there's my 2. What's next? But I had that connection with her. I was able to kind of push her into where I knew her goals were set. So I highly, highly recommend that if you are a leader right now that don't even have a team page, set that up. If you're a leader that you don't have a personally sponsored messenger chat, set that up. It's going to make a world of difference. And then definitely make those phone calls, because that has been a game changer for me for sure. So I hope that was enough. Like, I don't know if I went over my time, but that's just my little tidbit on that. Misty, did you want to say something?
Well, I was so one of the things that I think you will, like, as you start to hear this, you will see common themes throughout each person on the panel that is very repetitive, meaning they do it different ways, but their ultimate goal is the same thing. And then you will see very different personalities. Keep in mind how a specific personality connects to you, and then start to think of people on your team and what type of personality they connect to. Okay, just because, like when Brooke was talking about relationships and how she builds them, I mean, the truth of the matter is she is like the girl next door, right? She is and has the ability to walk into the room and be everyone's best friend. And they believe that without ever opening her mouth. Okay. There are people who are going to be more business oriented and they're going to attract a different market. But I feel like just recognizing personalities as we go through this and who you identify with, and then starting to realize who your team identifies with, will also allow you to take the information and kind of tailor the approach. So as you're talking about the business to different people, you kind of have a way to navigate their personalities, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I loved it. Yes. And I love that you back it up. You have a couple of questions. Yes. Brooke. Okay. So Brooke, how long are you going live each day?
So normally no less than 2 hours. Last night I went live for 3. I am a mom with 3 kids and we're active in sports. So there have been times that I have just done quick, like either speed shows or even non-intent lives where like we may be cooking dinner, or like at Christmas, we did the like cocoa chocolate bombs and we just went live as a family, like pouring the hot milk on the hot chocolate bomb. And like our customers feel like they're our family. That is truly what we build our business around, is that we're family based, we're family oriented, and we want them to feel like they're our family. So I truly try to go live at least 2 hours. Sometimes we push it farther, but I'm 95% of my lives are actually showing and selling the jewelry and talking about the opportunity.
All right, that was the next question. So that answer, you grouped them both in the same. All right. But then what is your social media live versus in-person events ratio? Do you do much in person?
I'll be honest with you guys. I did one vendor event, and truly, this is just my opinion, 1 was enough for me, okay? Because I sat there and yes, I got my name out. Yes, I was able to make connections with people and all of that. But for me, I was sitting here calculating how many pieces of jewelry I sell in that amount of time frame live versus what I was selling in that vendor show. And I was like, I'd much rather go live and connect with all these people that I have on my lives and hang out with them in my own house than to go to the vendor shows. Now, I know a lot of people that are successful at those, so I'm not dogging them by any means. But for me personally, it was like a one and done. I'm good. I would much rather be live on Facebook and social media selling that way because I personally can hit more people. So, and I live in Arkansas. So like, we're not a huge town. There's not massive vendor shows here. You know, it would probably be different if I was like Dallas or, you know, somewhere bigger, but that's just not where in my area, they're not huge. So.
And if you do vendor events and there's a time when it gets slow, know that because it's all set up and you're at an event, it's a great time to hit the live button and be able to utilize the boards just like you would.
Yeah.
Pull it down and just know, okay, if it gets slow, this is my backup plan. And you can talk about the opportunity, different things. So
yeah,
at least there is that ability to have the live function while you have a vendor event. That when we did that, when we had vendor events, that was not even a possibility. So you had to really drive business all the time, but there's definitely slow times all the time. But
and I actually did that. I did that while I was there because this vendor show that I was at was actually advertised like it was going to be really big. And then I don't know. It just wasn't, in my opinion. So I did that. I went live and was like, just really hyped it up, you know, and was like selling jewelry, like you said, from my boards and talking about the opportunity. Cause I looked at my mom like, okay, this isn't what I expected. So we're just gonna like roll with it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the big keys with all of what you've said is there's a time and a place for everything, right? Like, and that's what you have to figure out in your business. Like Misty said, you're going to hear very consistent themes, but how it works for you in this stage of your business, and every stage is different. But in order to get to the next stage, you have to push a little bit harder than what you were doing. You have to look at different ways of doing it. And that's the part I think too many people, they won't try a vendor event or they won't go live. And the truth is, you can go live every single day, regardless of weather, regardless of location, regardless of whatever that's out there. Vendor events have so many unknowns, and we've done a lot of them, and we love vendor events because that's all we knew when we started. But you never know if the wind's going to blow. You don't know if it's rainy. You don't know if, you know, there's the Super Bowl down the road and you're the little farmer's market. I mean, there's so many different things, but the benefit of a vendor's event versus live, in my opinion, is if you're a people person, you get to see the people in person. And sometimes when you get started and you're trying to build your business, that's the easiest way for you to do it because it seems so weird to talk to a screen and not see people. But as you blend the two and as you try them, I promise you, that's how you would get to where, you know, the panel people are going to be at. They've tried so many things.
Should they try everything? Yes. So, all right. All right. Hey, thanks, Brooke. All right, Danielle. All right.
I had a feeling you were going to do that. Hi, guys. I'm Danielle Baker. I am the rank of A-lister, two-time diamond, two-time black diamond, Crown Club 75, struggling to get back there like everyone else. And I'm trying to think of what else. Two-time Bling Boss, sorry. And I have 317, one signing up now, so 318 personally sponsored, and I lead a team of 1605 at this point. And I just passed my 5th year. I can tell you, and this is completely out of recruiting, but I just want to really stress, I've never been more thankful in my life for paparazzi than right now because my mother-in-law's in hospice. Your time freedom that you get from this business far outweighs any dollar that you can make. So if I can stress that to you enough, work your business hard so you have that time freedom. So recruiting is like my favorite thing in the world, you guys. Again, like Brooke, I think relationships are the very key, and consistency if they are not seeing you consistently, meaning, you know, nowhere in the, oh, I'm not muted. Nowhere in the world can you go and not show up to your job and still have one, right? So if you're doing that with your business as well, and you're not showing up, certainly no one's going to have the confidence to join you. One, because they do not believe that you're going to lead them. If you can't lead yourself, you're certainly not going to be able to lead them, right? But two, they don't have a whole lot of confidence too in you being able to train them with the abilities to be successful in this business. If you're showing up and you're doing the things that are successful and you're getting through the hard times and you're pushing through, and I remember Trent early on saying to me a couple things. He said, you need to become a director every month at minimum. Your 3 is 0. So you've got to hit 3 first. Your 4th is your first person that you recruited that month. So I've always done that. But 2, I remember him saying, you'll never get to the next rank or the next level doing what you're doing with the people you're with. Meaning you've got to continue to grow. Okay. For those of you that have built teams and then kind of slowed down on recruiting and then you get frustrated because they start dropping off, it's because you're not continuing to recruit. Your team is generally going to do what you do. So my goal through this entire 5 years is basically to outpace my team. I don't, if someone beats me, I'm throwing a party. Literally, I throw them up, like I'm throwing things at them because I'm so excited. Like, I put that pressure on myself as a leader because I'm leading by example. I am selling every day. I am recruiting every day. I am buying jewelry every day, and I can't ask my team to do it if I'm not. Okay, so lead by example. That's huge. One, it's going to give you respect of your team. So
Danielle, sorry, can we have you raise your hand? I just to put you on page 1 for everyone. The other thing is top right hand corner for all of you. You can go to view and speaker mode, and you can control it on your side. The speaker will pop up right in the center. Yes.
Where's the raise your hand?
Can you see it, Danielle? Sorry. Yeah.
I see meeting settings, background and effects. Nope, don't want that.
You're trying to find where to raise your hand, right?
Got it. Got it.
Okay. Okay. Oh, there you go. All right.
Good job. Hi, guys.
Sorry to stop your momentum. Yeah, sorry to stop you.
Good to see ya. Okay, so when I started early on, you guys, I can tell you, I would say at least 80% of my team has been built off of love. I am like Brooke. I'll be very, very authentic and tell you I have done 2 events. One was great. It was Shop the Santa at a school. And of course, the kids all came through. So that was a bank maker. But the other one was an absolute flop. So just know that all of us have made the mistakes and learned through the mistakes. But I love being able to be in my home and being able to connect with people through my computer and just being able to just be present with them. I have built a community, which has been absolutely amazing. And vending is great for some people. Some people love vending and are extremely successful, right? If you are extremely successful in vending, keep doing vending. But have, I always tell my team, have five funnels, 5 ways to sell. So if you are not talking about joining your team every single time you hit your computer live, you are doing a disservice to people. Okay. I wrote down, and I hope you wrote down the same note that Brooke said, because it never dawned on me that maybe people think that my team is full, right? I have had people ask, do you have any more room to mentor? So, I think it goes along the same lines, but if you're not giving them that invitation, they are necessarily not going to know, that they can join you as a leader. There's somebody I think that's unmuted. I'm sorry, I can't. So if you are not actually showing up and making sure that people know that they can join your team, that you will be there as a leader, that you plan on, when they join you, what do they get? Like, seriously, if they join me versus joining you, what are they getting with you as a leader, right? What are you going to teach them? How do you run your team? Do they get a community, right? So there's so many, hang on just a sec, sorry. Thanks guys. I'm like so ADD, the sounds. All right, so sorry, you guys, I'm all over the place. So just make sure that you, one, are speaking about the opportunity everywhere you go. I don't care if it's the Uber driver, the hospital ER worker, it doesn't matter to me. Every single person deserves this opportunity, and this business can change lives. You are going to have people, and please do not look at people and pre-qualify them, because you're going to have some people that join for the discount. You're going to have some people that join for community. You're going to have some people that want to retire, and everywhere in between. And you need every single one of them to build your team, right? You cannot have your community or your team without every single one of them. And I want you, those of you that have found, for instance, a church, you go to that church because it's a community. You feel loved, you feel welcome, and that's your home, right? The people stay in that church because they feel that connection, right? The connection of the group of people that are there in the family environment and community and support that they have. Your team should be identical to that. People do not want to leave, and this is a huge way. Recruiting like a beast and doing exactly what I'm telling you right now is how I got to Crown Club 75. Creating an environment where they feel welcome, they feel loved, and they feel supported is going to be huge to your retainment. People do not want to leave, even if they're not, killing it in their business. You need to meet them where they are, right? And run their race with them. Some people are going to be sitting down. Some people will be crawling. Some people will be running like a racehorse, right? You're going to run at the pace of each individual, but yet you have to make them all feel welcome there. Misty said a couple of years ago, talking about cookies on a shelf, and that every cookie, no matter what kind it was, that it all had a place on the shelf, right? Every person on your team has a place in that team. You just have to support them where they are and grow them where they are. All right, so personal phone calls have not been my strongest suit. They will be going forward, because I do believe that when I have done them in the past, they have been amazing. So thank you for that, Brooke. I appreciate you for checking me in my place. I will be doing those going forward. But as far as retainment, you guys, you have to keep recruiting. If you stop recruiting, your team will eventually waste away. 50% most likely per year will leave, okay? If you are not building steady and consistently, your team is gonna just fade away, right? And also your people are not seeing you grow, right? You're not showing them what to do. As far as, I hear all the time, well, I just can't get anyone to join my team. And I think the approach is so different. You shouldn't look at someone as a person or a number joining your team, right? It needs to be Nancy that really needs an extra $100. And she struggles with her special needs daughter, right? And what she needs to do to make that $100, and you've shown her that she only needs to sell this many pieces at profit to make that $100. It's that one-on-one communication with someone that lets them know that you see them as an individual. It's an individual invitation, and you're addressing their need, which most of the time, guys, that's all it is. You can find out what their need is, and you can address it and fix their need. It's a perfect, that's all you need. Okay. So that's kind of, was that fine enough?
That was great.
I think one thing where you're talking about meet people where they're at, that is huge. Your goal for them is not their goal. So you run with runners. If somebody joins for community, make sure they know they're loved. They're welcome here all the time. Do you spend 1,000 hours with them? No, they want to be involved. They don't want to be pushed. But make sure they're a part of your team pages. Make sure that they get the information, and when they want to engage, they will. But don't spend all your time trying to talk somebody into running with you when their original goal was, I want a friend. Okay?
Mhm.
Runners
Mhm.
will tell you their goal, but if you never ask them when they join, when you get a new team member, if you're just worried about what happens for you and you don't ask them what their goals are, you will miss and you will not retain them. So
100%. Yeah, that's literally the very first question I have for my people. I do one-on-one onboarding. And the very first thing are, what are your goals with Paparazzi and why did you join?
Mhm.
Because I manage it, or, you know, I lead individuals, or I train the masses and I lead individuals. And you guys have got to look at it like a love language. Every single person on your team has to be addressed separately and differently, but trained the same, right? So you have to provide that training no matter if they are that person that just needs community or they are a race runner, right? But you lead individuals. They are going to stay, they are going to feel important. And again, this is one thing I missed that I wrote down for myself. If you are not being transparent with your life and who you are, do not expect people to join your team because they don't know you. They are going to join you because they love you. None of you joined for what was inside that kit. Not one of you. You joined because there was something special or something got your attention by the person that sponsored you into this business. And there was something different about them. And you joined their team. People need to know who you are. They need to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. They need to see when you're full of joy. They need to see when you're struggling. And I promise you, people are going to absolutely be a part of your life and they're wanting to be around you even more. So they're going to join your team because they want to be with you all the time. So thanks for letting me do this, you guys. Is there any questions?
Hey, real quick, one thing I was going to add to that ties in with what you're saying, Danielle, is the coolest experience that I've ever experienced with Paparazzi, and it's the unknown, but it really is. It's not about numbers, and I mean it is, but it really isn't. The thing that I learned, you know, a little bit into it is each of you actually, what you are is a hope dealer, and what you're giving people is a place where they belong. And that's the biggest thing. Is it doesn't matter. I would tell you probably, I would say 87% of Paparazzi is here for the community. They're going to make a little bit of money. They're going to do stuff, but they're here for community because they don't belong anywhere else. The world's beat them down. And the coolest part is when you as a leader, as much as you don't believe you could when you start, when you see that you made a difference in somebody else's life, whether it's they're still here or they finally believe in themselves or they can look somebody in the eye and actually train, it's the coolest feeling in the world. And that's what you really are. If you focus on that, if you focus on giving them that, their success goes through the roof and yours does too.
You're naturally going to go up, you guys, if you're raising your people.
Yeah.
And the minute you stop making it about you and you make it 100% about them, you're naturally going to rise.
100%. Love it. There are some questions, but for the sake of time, this is what we're going to do, because even just now to get through the 10, we're going to get through there, and then there will be some questions we can see kind of some common threads. So then we'll go back and ask just so that we make sure we get through everybody. And then we might stretch this a little bit longer, but if you have to jump off, don't feel like you can't. Yeah. There's we can see in your eyes there's a lot of valuable information. So
Yes.
that's great.
Okay. All right. Monica, are you good to go next? Monica Cox.
Are you asking me something?
Yes. And then we're asking that you put the hand raising on so that you move up so they can all find you and see you.
Okay, so how do I do that?
Okay, you go down at the bottom to reactions.
Yep, got it.
Click on that, and then there's a hand raiser.
How come I have everything else but a hand raise?
It should
be the bottom that says raise hand.
Did
Oh,
it
you got
work?
it.
Yeah.
I'm a genius. I'm a genius.
Gosh,
So we're just asking if you'll just share some tips of what you do for team building.
listen, first of all, you should know this is a sign of a champion right
Yes.
here. This lady is selling the socks off of the world and is running on literally zero sleep.
Yes.
I watched her do a live. I swear it was like 7 hours ago. She's like, listen, I'm not getting off here until somebody joins my team.
I saw that too.
So you want to know how you become the top seller? Well, you just don't sleep.
It's
So love
okay.
you for doing that, Monica. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
So it's, what are you asking me now? My team, like how I retain, how I recruit.
Anything, your
Any
top
tips that
building,
you would like to
Yeah.
share with everyone?
top
I just-
team building
my
or
thing-
retention.
My thing always goes back to, you can't recruit if you don't sell. Like people were always like, I can't get anybody on my team. Well, where are you getting them from? Like on the couch? Are you just sitting there? Or, I mean, on Netflix? I don't understand. I don't know where you're getting these people. If you're not selling this stuff, how are you telling them, come join my team for what? Well, what are you doing? I don't even know what you're doing. So that's my biggest thing. There's no magic. Like for me, I feel like there's nothing magic about it. You talk about it, you do it. You have to do it. I feel like people are trying to hit home runs. They don't even know how to, they're not even swinging a bat. So that's like my thing. There's no magic thing for me. I just go live. They see that I love my job. They see that I do it. I mean, literally, that's it. That I don't have like anything else for it. Just freaking go sell some jewelry. They'll want to do it. Have fun.
Well, I think a big part of what you said is you love your job and that shows. And that's a huge part of all of it, right? When you love something and you get talking about it, you get excited and it shows out. And that's what makes so people want to come and be a part of you because they want part of what you have.
Yeah. I mean, if you want them to be a part of what you're doing, you actually have to do it.
Exactly. And you show up and you are out there and you are doing it.
Yeah. I mean,
Monica, is it 15-minute live twice a week selling jewelry?
no, you have to go less days, more hours to get Facebook to kick in. You've got to let Facebook kick in. Last night when I was on a live, I actually had 2 different phones that I never use. And I pulled 2 completely different people, like different things. I'm like, man, I haven't seen that lady in forever. I had one on my Facebook or one on my business page with a completely different phone. And then I used my regular live shows and people were like, were you live last night? I didn't see it. It's because it was a different phone. And then I went on my profile page and I had them just going side by side. And I had like 20 some people on my profile, which is actually pretty good because on my profile, I never get anybody over there. So yeah, but.
Okay, and also I feel like this is something that has not necessarily anything to do with what we're talking about, but I feel like this is the number one question people always ask a seller, and I know we're talking about team building, but since we've got her, is how do you grow an audience? So Monica lost her entire page. Zero, nothing left for an empire. And she has built it back. And I will say in a phenomenally short amount of time, she went beast mode, as you can imagine, right? On it. But Monica, if they were going to start some of these people may have a very small following. What is one thing that you think they can do to start to build viewers on their lives?
Well, I said this at convention and I stick by it whenever it comes to being cute. I love that entire thing. And actually my team's what made it up. Like I was saying it and they were like, okay, let's be cute. And they actually made that up. Is you have to be consistent. They want to find someone where they can be there and they can depend on them. So if you're not dependable, if you're not consistent, and I'm not saying you have to be there 7 days a week. I actually only go 4 now. We go 5 and Paris goes, but you have to be consistent. They have to be able to find you. They can you can add in little times here and there and go live, but you have to find a time that's consistent that they can find you, just like a normal TV show. So I say be cute. Consistent is one. Urgent. If you don't create urgency with people, I'm not saying you have to do it every time, but you've got to add it in, especially on slow times. If you start to get a little slow, people are like, well, I'm going to get off my live now. Things are getting slow. When things are going good, go longer. When things are going bad, go longer. And create urgency. Get over there and grab something that's a one and done. Wake them up. I always say things like, wake up, put the spoon down. Let's put the remote down now. Tell the husband, you got to pay attention for 1 second. We got one thing here. You need this. Tell him you're going to wear it with nothing else on. He got to grab it. Whatever the case is, you've got to create urgency. Like, that's it, right? Urgency is the second thing. T is trustworthy in every way you can think about it. Building a team, selling anything. Trustworthy, you have to be trustworthy with them. You can't tell them something's light, they get it in the mail and they can't even put it on their ear falls off. You have to be trustworthy. E is entertaining, and I believe that is consistency and entertaining go hand in hand. And I never think, and I said this at convention, you don't have to sing and dance and spin around in circles like I do. My people enjoy it, and I actually quite enjoy it. But you can do other things. You can have, like, it's Recipe Wednesday. Give them a reason to get to your live. Do Recipe Wednesday. Yesterday I'm doing this word from yesterday. What they talked about doing the word of the, like, word of the day, word of the live. It reminded me of, like, I hate saying this because this dude was like creepy, but Pee Wee Herman, like when you would say the word of the day and then he was like, like, I think that's huge. So you have to do something that gets them there. Like, I don't want to miss a crock pot recipe. So if you're doing that, I'm like, oh crap, did I miss the crock pot recipe today? And I'm going to go back in and even watch the replay and get there. Give them something that connects you to them and be entertaining. But it doesn't have to be singing and dancing. It could be anything. Mom Talk Monday, I always use that one. I love it. Tip Tuesday, just anything. But that's my thing. Consistency, urgency, trustworthy, entertaining.
Love it. Yeah. And just to clarify, because I know you don't do this all the time, you're not always on 2 devices.
No, rarely. I'm rarely on 2 devices. As a matter of fact, I started going live on TikTok more and just trying to find different people and then push them over there. And I actually could afford to do it more, and I haven't. But no, as a matter of, I don't know when the last time was I go live on 2 devices. It was just yesterday that people were like trying something new. And I'm like, what can I do that's something new? Let's try this. I just fling stuff out there every once in a while. See if I can grab one person for doing something new, I'm doing something.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Nope. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Monica. All right. We're going to go to Emily Brinson.
I just knew it. I was like, she is getting ready to say my name. Okay, so.
And your hand better be raised because you were the one directing me to get people's hand raised.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wait a minute.
Get it together, lady.
Come on.
Hey, can you see me now?
Yes.
All right. So my name is Emily Brinson. I've been in business for 6.5 years, currently at Lux Jet Setter. Just shy of hitting Empire for the 3rd year straight. I have 650 personally sponsored. My team just hit a team of 10,000 on yesterday, and currently Crown Club 150. So we're talking a lot. We're going to say a lot of the same things, y'all, because like Monica said, everybody said, there's really no magic. It's just kind of, you got to do what you got to do. The one thing I will say that you're going to always hear, being it sales or recruiting or anything, is going to be consistency. So we tell our stories. We have to start telling our stories now. Don't wait until you're there to tell people how you got there. Let them see you going through it, how you started, what happened next, the ups, the downs, the roller coaster, whatever. Let them see you hold on in the hard times, push past your quit, like my Andrea Harrison says all the time, but just make sure that they can see it. So on my team, we call it AMP. And the word amp, when you think about it, it's like hyping something up. We call it amp. You got to amp it up, right? But that's your attraction marketing post. And one of the things that I say all the time is we got to get over the bragging and boasting part of this, okay? Because people are like, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. So I teach my team, you're not bragging or boasting, you are business posting. McDonald's does not care, excuse me, if anybody is offended by their golden arches saying billions and billions served. They don't care. They just are stating the facts. So you need to state the facts. What has paparazzi done for you? Now, all of it is not going to be monetary. Some of it may be that I've grown so much. For me, I would not go live because I don't like the limelight. I don't like that kind of stuff, right? I can tell you that through paparazzi, being around positive people, being supported by my uplines and different people, that it pushed me into a place of going live. Now that's my number one seller. That's where I do all of the, the things to bring in my sales. But I would have never done that without the type of community that I'm surrounded with. So even though that's not I bought a house, I bought a car, personal growth and being connected to people who've encouraged me to grow on a personal level is big, right? So we always have something to talk about. And I say oftentimes, if you don't know what to talk about, just go and see what other top leaders and recruiters, what are they talking about? Now, you're not going to copy and paste, because if I'm talking about my kids and you don't have kids, that doesn't make sense for you, right? But you can take a guide. Okay, if I see Christian is talking about, her kids today, then maybe the next 2 days I might talk about my kids, right? We can give you kind of a guideline of what you can copy, right? But you have to make it your own. Somebody said earlier, I think it was Danielle, like you have to be real and you have to show them who you are. Because the truth is, once you get into business, we actually spend more time probably together than we do with family outside of our home, right? We're on vacation together. We're going to EMP together and convention. Do you have your, okay, can I plug this? Hey, do you have your convention tickets yet? Okay, just want to make sure everybody got, okay, yeah, I'm good. Okay, be there, be square, baby. Okay, so make sure you have your convention tickets, all right? But we spend a lot of time together. So the truth is, people need to get to know us, because I'm gonna see you a lot, talk to you a lot, be on lives and Zooms and everything with you. So you have to put it out there and you have to let people get to know you, okay? In doing this, one of the things I think it was Monica or somebody, everybody's always asking, how do I build a team? I'm not recruiting, nobody's signing up. And she talked about the fact that, what am I signing up for? You have to show them, right? So what I say is, become the consultant that you want to sign. Become the person that you want on your team. Before you complain about nobody joining, are you pushing to be a top seller? Are you showing up consistently? Are you doing the longer lives? Are you doing the attraction marketing posts? Are you doing the things that you're going to want the consultant who joins you to do? A lot of times we're worried about leading, right? But we haven't gone down the path ourselves. We haven't achieved it. So I say, go for the wins. Too often people will say, I want to do this, I want to do that. And year after year, they push it back. We hear it all the time in our downlines. I'm going to go to convention next year. And then next year rolls around, I'm going to go to convention next year, right? You have to start making it your choice today. All right. I always say, if you keep making it an option, it will never be your choice. So you have to start today saying, I'm going to win. What does winning look like for you? Now, it's going to be different for everybody. If you want to do Crown Club, if you want to do Life of the Party, what you want to do. Sometimes winning is just growing your audience, starting your page with 500 people and ending the month with 600 people. But we have to learn how to finish things, okay? Too often people have goals and the time starts ticking, and then I don't think I have enough time, and so I give up and I'll just start again. But we lose momentum when we keep starting over. So we have to learn how to be strong finishers. I don't care how much time is left on the clock, you work until 11:59:59. When you start winning, and people see you winning, we see it in sports all the time. It's called the bandwagon. She's winning, I'm jumping on. She's winning, I want to be a part of it, right? And so when you start winning and you're doing your attraction marketing posts and you're telling the world how you're winning, that paparazzi is giving you a place to win, well, how do I get in on the winning team? And they have to constantly know, like Brooke said, they don't know. We assume that they know what the win is. They assume they know there's room on my team. When you say, I just hit Life of the Party, somebody's watching and they're congratulating you, but they have absolutely no clue what that means. Excuse me. If you just hit Life of the Party bronze, they need to know that you've moved a minimum of 2,500 pieces. So as you're celebrating these wins, teach them, train them, and let them know now. These are your future team members. So it's okay to go ahead and teach them what Life at Party is, right? But let them know exactly what that means, what you've accomplished. Now, also on a constant daily basis, share the blessing. When I hear people say, I'm not comfortable with telling or asking people to join my team, your mindset is what they can do for you, not what you can do for them. When you shift and you start thinking about what it's done for you, and maybe, just maybe, this could help change their lives, maybe, just maybe, this could be the blessing or the answered prayer for them, then you begin to have more confidence when you're sharing it, because now you know that you're going out and you're helping people, not helping yourself. It's having a servant's heart. I'm gonna go fix your plate instead of worrying about fixing my plate last, okay? Because the truth is, in the end, after I feed everybody, right? Even if there's not enough for me, I know how to get more food. I know how to go and do this, right? So we're gonna think on a daily basis, who can I save today? Who can I encourage today? Who can I bless today? With all this love that I have in paparazzi, who can I invite into this opportunity because they need love, right? Stop looking at who's going to get you to the next level, because I've had so many people come in for one thing and it turned out to be something totally different. So even some of my people that are here today came in, let me know, hey, listen, you don't even have to put me on a graphic to welcome me because I just want the discount. Now they're here, now they're pushing for crown clubs and ranks and all this, right? So don't get caught up in, I want a certain type of person to join me. Show them what it's all about. Show them what's available to them, but welcome them in anywhere. I'll take them, bring them to me, right? Because once they come in and they start seeing what paparazzi offers, they start seeing what it's doing for different people. It's not just you anymore. I'm getting confirmation after confirmation because I'm seeing win after win on this team, throughout the company, throughout the business. Now I believe that maybe I could do more with this opportunity, okay? So don't worry about how they come in. Like I said, set the example and consistently set the example. If you're not live, you should be posting something. If you're not posting something, you should be at a vendor event or a home party. So for me, I'm not against vendor events. I just know that at this stage in my business, it's easier for me to go live, but I love vendor events because my first year, I was terrified to go live. Hello to the people that don't like to go live. I was terrified to go live. Understand? I mean, terrified. Okay. And so vendor events was the thing that we did. We call it beating the streets. We went out and we did as many home parties, vendor events. We created our own vendor events. I talked about on my live yesterday. We used to sell watermelons on the side of the road. But I believe that God allowed us to experience that. That was humbling, and he allowed us to experience that because there came a day where we had a tent selling paparazzi on the side of the road. The only difference was I was proud because this was my business, and I was on the corner, y'all, selling my bling, right? But we were trying to get our name out there, right? When we did vendor events, we wanted our money back for the cost of the vendor event, but we didn't get caught up in how much money we made because we were there for the connections. We were there to connect with people, to get them to follow us on social media. So that's a quick tip. When you do a vendor event, we went in with a number. So we would say, hey, excuse me, babe, before we leave here, we want 300 new people on our business page. And that was our goal, to get those people added before we left. We'll make our money back, but we are going to network. I teach my team that networking is a never-ending process. So Trent Kirby said one time, well, he's gone now, but Trent said to me one time, well, all of us, he said, think of it like a faucet. The water is always running in, but it's always going out. When you think like that, you know that the people that are with you today might not be there tomorrow. That means the advice that my sponsor gave me that changed everything for me. I hope this will help you. I say it all the time. I will always say it because it's the thing that made it click for me. It is easier to give birth than it is to raise the dead. I'm gonna say it again. It is easier to give birth than it is to raise the dead. That means stop chasing after the people that have shown you they're not interested anymore. Stop chasing after the people that have given up on their own dreams. If their responsibilities, their children, their spouses, their elders, if their bills are not enough to motivate them to keep going, you can't do it. The only thing we can do is coach and teach and try to encourage them by showing them how it's done, but you can't make anyone do anything. However, there's a woman or a man out there that's never heard about it, that's never considered it, that's never seen themselves doing something like this, right? That's the person you start to focus on. So again, it is easier to give birth than it is to raise the dead. When I took on this mindset, recruiting became a focus for me. We do realize that what we focus on is that's usually what happens, right? So it's the concept of what we feed will live, what we starve will grow. If you only focus on sales, you may get a few people here and there that are just have a very strong personality to approach you and say, hey, listen, how are you making all this money? I want to make some too. If they see you selling, right? But think about this. Most people are not going to do that. The average person is not going to come up and say, hey, Misty, how you got all that money, right? Most people are not going to do that. So we have to make sure that we are constantly focusing on getting the word out there, on telling them, on showing them, on doing the attraction marketing posts. Let them see your life changing. Because the truth is, if you keep working this business, it's going to change. You're going to be on this panel one day. People need to know how you got there. Let me see if there's anything else that I have here. So, and that's why I say start singing your song now. Your song might not sound good. If you're anything like me, your song does not sound good, right? Your song may not sound good, right? But if you've ever heard a commercial or a crazy song on the radio, you don't like it, but it keeps playing and it keeps playing. And before you know it, you're singing along. And then you don't even know, when did I learn the words to this song that I used to despise, right? When you keep singing your song, eventually they're going to start listening. They're going to start entertaining it. And before you know it, they're going to be singing along with you. So I hope that is of encouragement. Misty, I know you said we're going to hold questions to afterwards, but that's my little take on it.
So here's something, I'm going to get a shout out to Em. When she says 11:59:59, she is not playing to a level that I feel like very few can actually push to. And let me tell you why. And I'm not going to tell you her number. That's her gig. But Emily said
Tell the number. I know the number. Can I tell it? Can I tell it? What is it? 276.
276 personally sponsored active in the nuts people. 276. Now here's what's incredible about that. Like that is like the world might be ended tomorrow, and I'm just going to be near Lady M because I am not ready to go to my maker. But I'm telling you what, 276. She started the month with one personally sponsored goal. Hit it. So what does Emily immediately do? Well, clearly that's not big enough. These are made up numbers. It's 225. PPS, we don't have a Crown Club 225. Emily made it up. Okay. And then she's like, well, I hit that. That was way too easy. So she immediately says, I'm going for 250. The girl freaking hits 250 and sends me a message. Missed. Should I go for 275? I simply respond, absolutely. I am going to choose my words so carefully for Emily Brinson. She is only getting emojis back. She goes, that was going to be not a nice saying. She's going, tilt, until literally 1 hour before midnight last night. And she is running for a goal that is her third time to raise the bar to something that doesn't even exist because nobody's ever hit it. You want to talk about 11:59:59? If you set a goal to sell 100 pieces and they're still buying, why the heck do you stop the live? When you say I'm going to add 2 people to my team, why do you immediately step back? And I'm talking big leaders in paparazzi are like, yeah, my personally sponsored goal was 5. I hit it. So cool. There are 4 days left of the month. And they're like eating peaches and drinking Diet Coke and having a beer. I don't know what they're doing. Why do we do that? 11:59:59. Monica's telling you, you know what? If they're still buying, go. I've literally watched her with some of the biggest lives she's ever had. Selling jewelry, I swear the same amount that people will sell in an entire year, and I'm not playing. And she continues to go because what if tonight was my highest night ever? What if? So when you talk about 11:59:59, the truth is you give up on yourself or you hit it and don't realize your goal was too easy and you stop. You want to be a beast in this business? You want to be a beast in life? You want to be the very best at what you do? 11:59:59 in everything that you do. In everything. You want to love big? 11:59:59. All right.
You know, it begs the question, Emily, It begs the question, I mean, what's love got to do with it?
I'm gonna mute myself.
Oh, Monica, you're good.
I'm so not singing. I'm gone.
It's right there on the hip. She's trying. She's holding it back. She's reeling
Come
it
on,
back.
Tina, you got this.
We gotta keep going. We got more people to talk.
In case you don't know, Lady M's a great impersonator. She is. Sometimes she has to be egged on.
Just know she is known in the office as Tina Turner.
They actually called her Tina yesterday, and I had no idea what they were talking about for a minute because they were like, "Well, Tina." And then I was like, "Freaking, are you talking about M?" Like, yeah, okay. See, that's what happens when you have relationships, right? You have inside jokes that you actually know about people because you spent so much time together and you love them.
Yes.
That's the difference. You want to have a team of people who are in your corner, love them, get to know them, find their strengths, because everybody's strength on this call only makes us better together.
Mhm.
There's nothing about it that makes us less than. There's nobody's success that takes away from mine. If paparazzi is stronger, so is your team. If the brand is more prevalent, the customers can find you easier. Bottom line, across the board, all day, every day, we win together. If you believe we don't win together, straight up, you are absolutely in the wrong business. And if you find a teammate who is so worried that they are going to lose everything because they help somebody win, they will never win. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. All right, who's next?
All right, we're going to go to Mandy.
Of course we are. Of course we are. If really I have to go after Emily, like, fine. Okay. Hi,
You're an
everyone.
iconic. Hello.
Yeah. Hey, you
guys-
remember to raise your hand. M didn't, even after all of that. So, hey.
Look at me. I am killing the day. Okay. I have remembered to raise my hand on the Zoom call. I'm so proud of myself. Hi guys. I'm Nancy. I'm an iconic impressionista. I have set my little timer for 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to stay on time too. I'm going to follow all the rules here. So anyway, I am a mom of 3 under 3. These kids are my life. I've been in paparazzi for 11 years now. So I've been, in the beginning, I wish that I was a mom. I was like, it would be so much easier if I was a mom. I would be more relatable to people. Now I'm like, I wish I maybe was not as relatable. I don't know. There's just like, there's always something to do. There's always someone who needs a diaper change, someone who needs a snack. So I try to fit in my lives now when I can. Before, I actually am like, why didn't I go live all the time before? I literally had all the time in the world, so I'm not sure why, but I'm like, now I literally have to schedule my days like a week in advance as to what I'm going to do. So if you are that person, I am totally relatable to you. You know, sometimes just fitting in a quick 30-minute live is like all that I can do, and it is what it is. But I try and I work and I fail forward. So every day or every week, I'm like, okay, well, I wish I was live more this week, or I wish I know I could do more if I was live more this week, but it just didn't happen. So don't be afraid to fail forward, and don't be afraid to, like, maybe you didn't complete a challenge that your leader gave you, or your sponsor gave you, or paparazzi gave you, or the winner circle gave you, or whoever that you're looking to for challenges. Maybe you didn't complete a certain challenge, but fail your way forward and just say, all right, well, I'm going to try again next week. And even if it's not a challenge, even if the leader doesn't say, all right, well, the same challenge applies this week, make it a challenge for yourself to do that. So always have a challenge for yourself. Always have a goal in mind for each month, each week, really. Next thing is, someone also said this, let people in. Don't be afraid to let people in. I feel like sometimes we're so focused on selling that we only want to be a seller. And like, yeah, you can sell a lot of jewelry if you're a seller, but you are an entire business, not just a seller. So you want to sell the jewelry, yes, but you also have to let them in to your life and let them know, all right, my kids are in soccer, or my kids are doing this, or I have 3 kids and I'm just like a crazy mom, or whatever your life is. I feel like when you let people in, not only do the sales come natural, I think that the team building comes natural too, because they see you and they kind of know what to expect. So people don't expect you know, they don't expect me to be like have the perfect setup and the perfect background and be on time all the time, because I'm not. People are like, she'll be there, she'll come. They know that I'm dependable, but they also know that I have a family and a life. So when you let people in, I feel like that really helps. I've watched a lot of lives recently, and I feel like sometimes we're just so focused on selling the jewelry. We're like, okay, this is a purple necklace, and this is, and they want to describe all the features of the necklace perfectly, and that's great, and that might sell the necklace. But sometimes remember to take a step back from that too, and remember to implement yourself and your life and your personality in there too. The next thing that I have on my little notes list is your because of paparazzi posts. So everyone calls them something different. There's lots of cute names for them, but the because of paparazzi, I'm able to do this. And a lot of times I think that we overlook the most simple of things. Like I posted one yesterday that said, because of paparazzi, I was able to take my daughter to her doctor's appointment and I didn't have to take off of work. Sometimes we miss those opportunities, or I was able to buy groceries, or I was able to pay for dance lessons this week. Sometimes we want to wait until, you know, we buy the whole house or the luxury car, but that's not even on some people's radar. They're like, I just want to be able to pay for groceries. I just want to be able to pay for these dance lessons from my daughter. I'm not worried about having a multi-million-dollar house or a luxury vehicle, right? So sometimes you have to remember to post all those little successes, because the little successes are what builds up to massive successes, and that's what will reach a lot more people. My next thing is so one thing that I do that I find is helpful is I like to call it like sneak peeking the promo. So I don't just like blurt out what the promo is every month. You can see it on my timeline. I had one in January that had like 900 comments on it, because it just kind of said something like, we have an amazing promotion this month. Let me know if you want details. And that will help me. And I had a book, Misty knows, I had a notebook, and I had everyone's name in it that had asked me for information the entire month of January. I still have it. And I highlighted them when they asked me questions. I wrote down notes if they said, oh, I'm waiting for money, I'm waiting for payday. So I have that book. That was my January book. I have another one now. So I had that. And then I highlighted them in yellow if they said that they were like, if I really thought that they were going to join. And then I highlighted them in green once they did join. So I kind of could filter through and see who I still need to reach out to, who's waiting for money, who's this and who's that, right? So that little notebook really helped me. And it helped me because I kind of sneak peeked the promo. If I just blurted out what the promo was, they could click like, but they probably wouldn't. But if they have to ask me, then I know that they're interested. So it gives me their name. So I think that that's helpful, because sometimes people will say, oh, well, I've already posted about joining. I've already posted about joining, but they just post like the graphic, you know, from paparazzi, which is amazing. It's amazing. But once everyone posts it, it just, Facebook kind of does this algorithm and filtering thing, and it's annoying. So when you post something a little different and you make them engage with you, you know that they're interested, and that helps you. And then if someone asks, like someone says, I'm interested, you want to comment on that post, or you want to comment on there and say, all right, I just sent you information. The more comments that you have on there, the more that it's going to be in more people's feeds too. So you're collecting comments. I always call, like, when you go on live, you're a comment collector. You want to collect as many comments as you can when you first get on the live. Same thing with your post. You want to collect as many comments on that post as you can. So if someone says, I asked for information, or I want information, say, I just sent you information. And then if someone says, oh, join, you know, I just joined last month, I'm so excited, comment on there and say, you know, you're an awesome rock star, I'm so glad you joined the team. So keep commenting on that post, to comment on everybody's comment, like reply to their comment. And then one other thing that I do is, once they do join your team, I did this for January and February so far. I write them a handwritten note card, and I just say, you know, thank you for joining my team. I kind of, you know, have a personal connection with them, and see, you know, something that's personal with them, write something in there. And I sent that to all of my January teammates, and they all like loved it, and they send me a thank you. And then it's another reason to connect with them and say, oh, did you get your kit, or did you do your first party, or how was your first party, or what's the plan for your next party, something like that. So it gives you an easy way to connect with people if you're shy like me, and I just feel like awkward just randomly calling people, but I guess I have to do that too. So I feel like I way overdid my time, so I'm going to unraise my hand and thank you guys.
It was perfect. One thing I love, and I do think Mandy is really, first of all, she's sitting where she sits, because there is one thing I know for sure. You do not tell Mandy you can't. If you give her any sort of challenge, when I say she will die trying, I mean, and she has always been that way. But when you talk about posting, or even just like, so you post the promo for this month, right? Lots of cool things going on this month. In the month of January, she was the highest team builder, and she had a lot of people. And honestly, you can go back and look, and her January, she posted essentially the same exact thing reworded in different ways and never stopped. And you would think, okay, I've already talked about that, but I am talking literally every day. If you want to build the business and you want to know, you need to be posting jewelry all the time. If you want to be able to build teams, you need to talk about the opportunity. And 4 or 5 times in a month, or I already did that this week. Like, we're not talking about this week, we're talking about today. But when she says, like, go back, and literally that's one of the things she does so well, is when she focuses in, there are massive results. And part of it's because she's walking the walk and talk. They know where she sits, right? They see it and they're like, oh my gosh, even the idea that she's still doing it after all these years, right, shows that she's successful. You cannot underestimate or be worried about making people bored or pushing people away. If they don't want it, they'll go away. But everybody wants the buyer on their page who shows up to every live and still buys. They already know what's coming out of your mouth before you do. They know the exact way that you breathe, because they watch you every single night and they still show up. If somebody's offended by it, like Em said, the billion sir, go away. We didn't want you anyway. Really, we didn't. You need to get in people's faces in different ways that appeal to them, and it will make a huge difference.
Can I say something?
Yep.
I know you probably hate having me on this call, because I always
love
have.
it. I love it, Mom.
My thing with Mandy is when I first met her, I was like, what a snot. Like, she doesn't know who I am. I freaking bust my butt. How do you not know me? How do you not know who I am? She did know who I was. She was very quiet. And when she had kids, she got herself into a place where she was like, how am I going to get out of here? Like, what? And she could have stayed there. She could have literally sat there and done nothing and said, I'm going to make my money. I'm going to raise these kids and I'm going to do nothing. And she didn't. And so many times people will say, I can't get back there. I can't get back where I was. I can't get back there. Well, she's getting there. She's literally doing whatever she can to get back there with these little munchkins who are always in my ear, running everywhere. There's no excuses at this point. Now, and she had plenty to give, and she'll tell you that. If you find a way to make an excuse, you will find one. They're there. And now she's making none. She's making sure that there are no excuses, and I'm back where I am, and I'm getting back on top, and she's booming. So I want to hear these people that are like, I can't because my dog had to go to the vet and my kid said this. And there's an excuse every day, and she's not giving them anymore. And I'm super proud of her, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. And I do think also life happens, right? Like, you are building this business in many cases for your children. You are not meant to not enjoy them. Hello, people. This is not meant so you don't enjoy life, but this business can work around life, but you have to WORK. That's the deal. You have to work and let it work around life, right? But I mean, there's Crystal Mitchell's on here. I swear you on my life, and I might be a little bit exaggerative, but I don't think much. I swear she had a baby, and 1 week later she was live, and I was like, whoa, like, sent her a message. You don't have to go live right now. Like, you can enjoy babies. She's like, what? It was super soon. I want to do this.
And she was live up until the day before she gave birth.
Some people are like, wow, this is rocking my world. I don't even know what to do. And it takes them a while to get into a group. This business is meant to allow you to have grace when you need grace. Danielle is in that moment. You know, She is there to be able to help her mother-in-law. And guess what? Nobody wants to have to live that moment, but thank heavens that you can. But you have to do it with force. And I love that. You're absolutely right, Mon. Good job, man.
Yes. No. All right. Thank you. All right. We're going to go to Kristen Ivanelli. You're next.
Hello, welcome you guys. So I am a Maven A-lister with Paparazzi. I've been with Paparazzi for a little over 3 years. I'm a pink diamond seller, Crown Club 50, and we've hit Bling Boss for 3 years in a row. So I was going to talk a lot on consistency in relationships, but that has definitely been covered, and it's just kind of a given. Like, you can't get anywhere without those two things. That's the foundation of this, in my opinion, is relationships are number one to me, but you have to be consistent for that to even work in your favor. So I'm going to talk about my biggest piece of advice, honestly, and it makes me emotional. And I normally don't talk about this on Zooms because I'm a crier. So I'm going to try to just keep it together, but don't overcomplicate it and don't underqualify yourself. Like, biggest piece of advice I hit, and I don't say this to brag by any means, Lord, if you know my heart, you know that this is not the case, and I don't even share it much, but we went from star consultant to producer in 1 month. And I truly believe, I didn't know anything about ranks. I had no idea what producer even was, to be honest, because I didn't intend on being a team builder. I went live one time and I shared my story. I was not making any money yet. I was really new in the business. I was reinvesting everything. So I wasn't like, telling them how they can make all this money. I just literally shared my heart and what Paparazzi had done for me, like internally as a person. And that's what so many people are looking for. Like, they want the community. They want somewhere to belong. Like, they want to feel loved and believed in. And if they can feel that from you, you're going to make huge strides without even like fully understanding. Like, I didn't know, truly, I had to go like look up whenever people start asking me questions on this live. I was like, hold on, paparazziaccessories.com. Like, I had to look up the kits because I didn't even know, because that wasn't where I was intending on going with it. But people just started joining, and we hit producer that month. And then I'm like, I got to learn what that means. Like, I'm a producer. And the thing is I started a team page. And so this is where I say, don't underqualify yourself. I started a team page not knowing what the ranks were, but in my mind, me and my team were elite. Like, we were elite right away. I didn't know what that meant, and I didn't know what it was going to take to get there. But if you can just believe that for you and your team, it will carry you so far. So don't overcomplicate the process. I truly just say to my team, like, show up and love people, like, love them genuinely. And onboarding is really important. Like, whenever they sign up with you, take the time to really ask them, what do you want from this? Like, is it community, or is it you want to retire one day, And the thing is I've noticed so many times people that join for community and friendships and for belonging, when they get in your team page and you continue to pour into them and believe in them, suddenly now they want to do this because they didn't have that confidence before. And they didn't have someone that really believed in them. And so when they just joined for community, now they're like, I can do this. Like, this person believes in me. This team believes in me. Like, we're here for each other. And now they're out there selling it and they're doing it. And that's like the best feeling in the entire world, to watch your team flourish into that, I mean, I really like Trent always, I think this is Trent's quote, right? That we are created from greatness for greatness. Like, you got to believe that in every like fiber of your being. You have to believe that you were created for greatness with a purpose. And like, it's our job, I feel like, to just go share that to the world. Like, Paparazzi has literally changed my life. And that's why, like, I usually cry at this point, but I'm too nervous to right now, thank God. So I think that you probably could say the same. And if you'll just go out there and believe in Paparazzi with everything in you and believe in yourself, that's going to get you so far without overcomplicating everything.
Well, and that is like, first of all, like, do you see why she built a team to produce her in the first month? Because like, you're like, I want to come to your house. Can I come to dinner? Can we be friends? Kristen, can we be friends? I do think too, sometimes we knock ourselves down the second we realize what the next qualification is. But honestly, really not knowing makes the process so easy, because what are you pegging for? Straight joy, love, and prosperity.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that there is something really raw and personal about that, because it's kind of like when, you know, when you ask a child what they want to be, and they're like, I want to be an astronaut. The other day, my little neighbor friend came over and she had mascara on, and she's little. And I was like, oh, you have mascara on. It's so pretty. And she's like, someday I'm going to be a makeup artist, Misty. And I was like, oh, you're going to be so amazing at it, right? They're uninhibited. But suddenly we get to be adults and we qualify why we can or cannot. And I love that you ran that race coming out of the gate, just loving what you did. Mm-hmm. If you don't show people that you love what you're doing, why would they join you? If you act annoyed to be on a live, if you act like you're talking about the opportunity because somebody told you, PPS, nobody's actually going to join you because you don't seem fun. You don't seem like you like what you do. I'm a little nervous now. Like, did they hold a gun to your head? Did they tell you have to do this? Why are you doing this if you don't like this? And it might just be a bad day, right? If it's a really bad day, then yeah, Trent's like, go to sleep. Or qualify it, and a lot of times you'll feel better after doing a live and selling, but I'm just telling you, the twinkle in your eye is very telling of your soul, and you need to find your twinkle. So if there's something you love about this business and you're afraid to talk about it, find the thing you love and talk about it, because that's what Kristen did. She literally talked about what she loved about the business, and it was monumental for people. Mm-hmm. Like life-changing. To hit director in 1 month is like, that's something else. I mean, producer in 1 month. Director is also something else. But to hit producer, I mean, that's because people wanted what she had, because they could see that it made a difference, truthfully. So good job.
Yes, thank you. All right, Steph, we're going to move it to Stephanie Ottamanelli. And I do just want to point out, this is just a fun little fact for her. I hope I don't give her too embarrass her or anything. But of all our whole panel, she's our non-elite. Like, she is just out there going for it and doing what she does and showing how much she loves it, and just, she's amazing. And we just are excited to have her here with us.
And in the process of ramping up, so that's something that's so important, is like, you can be amazing at what you do and sit with the top leaders and still be in the process.
Yes.
That's how everyone got there. And that's such a massive kudos to Steph.
So.
Oh, you're muted, Steph.
Oh, wait, is that better?
Yeah, there you go. And then if we can have you raise your hand, so it pops you up.
I'm gonna do that. Okay. Is that good?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So hello, everybody. My name is Stephanie Ottamanelli. I've been doing this since September of 2020, so it's about 2.5 years. I actually just hit producer literally a month ago. Yeah, a month ago. Sorry, I get so excited and nervous at the same time. So I was looking at reports with Summer the other day, and I was wowed at my numbers. I was at 126 PS since I started in 2020. And I want to tell you guys about recruiting, because I feel like all the tips that I've been implementing starting literally last year has been really growing my numbers. I had a goal for January, which was 20, and I reached my goal of 20 PS that signed under me. I had a goal of 15 for February, and I actually got to 17. So that was 37 people. So I'm going to tell you guys my tips of what I do about recruiting, which I think really, really works. So always, guys, talk about the opportunity every live. Like, I don't care if you sound like a broken record, like, talk about it. Talk about it. Literally, as you're selling the jewelry, every live, incorporate it. Like, incorporate your journey, why you're selling this jewelry, what has it gained for you. every live, even if you're not doing a selling live and you're like, all right, I don't have enough jewelry, or maybe you don't have 20 pieces or 30 pieces that you're going to show that night, but maybe you just want to pop on and just chat. Always, always, always incorporate talking about what it has done for you. And I want to tell you guys one thing that I've started recently that really, really has gotten people wondering about what I'm doing. So you guys all have a personal page, right? You guys always have your personal and maybe your business page. So your personal is basically like your story, it shows you who you are. So everything that you post on your page, people are going to look at it, right? That's the first thing that they're going to come to is your page. So if you're going live on your personal page, I always say to do this live once a week. I'm gonna tell you why. When you're doing that live and you're talking about your journey and your opportunity, I don't care if you started a week ago, I don't care if you started a day ago or 3 months ago, do that live. Do that personal, that opportunity live. And you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna pin that live to your page, like the top of your timeline or your top of your personal page. So when people are going to your page, that's the first thing they see, right? Because as a business owner, like doing this business, how we get more people is adding friends or sharing our lives. And again, that's the first thing that they're going to see is your page. So when they go and you're adding friends and they're accepting, they're going to stalk your page. They're going to stalk you out. They're going to be like, who is this person? They're going to watch your live. They're going to do it. They may not comment, but they're going to watch you. So why I'm saying to do it every week is because you have a new journey every week as you go along. So you might have grown so much last week that you want to do a new live to tell everybody of how much you've grown since then. Because I used to always say like every 3 months I would grow. No, not necessarily. I always think about it now. Every week you learn new things, right? Maybe yesterday you bought yourself, I don't know, a purse, or last week you went out and you got your nails done. Talk about that. Talk about that in your opportunity live, and pin that every week. A new live should be at the top so new people can be seeing you. So that's a thing where people love it. That's how I gain a lot of new people by doing that. And then another thing, when you guys are going live and you're selling or you're talking, and you might get like a little slight interest from anybody, like they popped in and they maybe just asked you a question, go and message that person after. Take the extra time and reach out to them. Maybe they just said hello and asked one little question, that was it, and then you didn't hear from them. Go reach out to them, because by doing that, they're going to be like, wow, she took out the time out of her day to recognize me and message me. And they're going to feel comfortable from that. So I always do that with everybody. If I have people asking me questions about my live, talking about the opportunity, I always go and ask them, friend me, I'm going to go message you on right after I get off my live, we'll chat, so they feel more personable with you, comfortable with you, you know what I mean? Because you're taking that extra step. Before I did this, I did a lot of Q&A lives. So if you really want to gain a team, but you maybe want to do some free jewelry with it, because people love that, right? So do a lot of Q&As. Like I used to do a lot of them in 2022, the end of the year, how I started really gaining new personal sponsored. I would do, for every question that you would ask on my live, you will get an entry. You'll get an entry to win 3 free pieces of jewelry. So by them all like asking questions, maybe somebody's just watching you, but they're not saying anything, but everyone else is asking them the questions that that person wanted to, but they found out the info. And now they're like, okay, I think I want to do this. Think about this, like people are always watching you guys, even though they're not like commenting or seeing you, they're watching you. I have a couple of my team members. Actually, I have Dale on here. She watched me for 3 months and she didn't take the leap, but she was watching me and she didn't even think about it. But then she's like, you know what? I want to do it. I want to join your team for the discount. And she is now selling. She started 3 weeks ago, literally. She's amazing. And like you never know. You never know who's watching you, even though you're live, guys, and you have nobody. There's always people watching your replays. That's why I say when you pin that live to the top of your personal page, so that's the first thing people see. Because if you think about it, if we weren't to pin that live, it's going to be all the way down on your page. So people have to go and like scroll to look, right? So that's what I think is an awesome way of getting new people to see you, who you are, what you do, what's your story, how your journey's going, and all that. Because people like you, you know, talking about your journey, your life, they feel more, comfortable if you're going on there, especially if you're always on and you allow them to ask you questions. I love doing that. I'm always doing that with my lives. And yeah, that's basically that.
So one thing I love is so Steph is consistently one of the most consistent team builders. So what that means is somebody might have high one month, and then like, oh, I have so many new people, I got to kind of cut back, make sure I train them, and they drop low. Or I have so many high one month, and so now I've got to, my pipeline's drained, so I've got to find new people. She is like a line all the way across, month after month after month after month after. I mean, it really is, it is beautiful to watch. And I feel like the thing she has really taken hold is when she really is talking about that pinning to the top. The other thing you have to realize is they see that, and then if they're like, I wonder what that's about, they're going to start to scroll then, right? They've already got to know you. They hear your why. They're going to start to scroll through something else that's similar. They're either going to find a live where you're selling, or they're going to watch the last opportunity live you did or talking about it. And they're going to see that you consistently talk about this, and they will hear something different each time. That is critical. It's critical. It shows you literally, they can tell you're in a different outfit, right? So they know it wasn't all done in one day. Your hair's different. Maybe you're in a different part of your house, but they do not be shocked if somebody goes back and watches multiples to make sure, like, so is she like always like this? Is she the real deal? Like you talk about people stalking you. Hello, right? Like we all know that that's weird, but people do it to every part of our lives. They do. And then they're going to make sure that they qualify you. Are you the real deal? Because I'm here and I want to join with somebody who I believe is the real deal, or I have a connection with. The more chances they have to see you talking about the opportunity, the more you have an opportunity to hit the one part, the trigger to them that makes them jump on board. But I feel like she is literally one of the first to do that and pin that in that function. It's very systematic. She didn't even know it was systematic, honestly, right? And she, honestly, to be totally transparent, didn't know. She was just talking to people and they're joining, but had to learn how to have retention, had to learn, oh, this is what I do to train people, right? Like in a more systematic way. But that is something, if you take one thing, and it's like, I love that it's actually a task you can do. Everybody can do that today. Everybody.
And no matter where you are in the business, you can do it.
Yes, a brand new, and that's, she's telling, I mean, she does tell brand new people, let's do this, right?
Yes.
But if you watch the evolution, and even you go back and watch yourself through your evolution, I think it's easier to see how far you've come as well.
Yes.
There's something mesmerizing, and just, it will bring a lot of gratitude to you, I think, and just be humbling and heartwarming for your soul to realize how far you've come. And if you watch your journey, you will literally see your entire being enhance, because you gain more confidence. You have the ability to present yourself differently. You can see the different things that matter to you, right? Nails are a big deal right now. Then suddenly it'll be groceries. And then suddenly it's going to be, I had a play date, a big play date with our kids that we don't normally get to do because it's too expensive. And then maybe it's like you get to serve somebody in some way. You have enough money for your needs that you can actually help somebody. Maybe it's a car, maybe it's a house, but you will see and walk yourself back through the journey, and you can never forget where you came from, people.
Yes.
You cannot forget what got you here. It's critical. So, all right.
All right, we're going to move to Heidi.
Heidi.
We'll see if she knows how to raise her.
Oh, look.
Oh, but she doesn't know how to unmute herself.
Oh, now I do so. I can only click one button at a time, Summer, you know, like good grief. All right. Hi, paparazzi. What's going on? Who's feeling the electricity in the air right now? Like, holy moly. Tried to go to bed last night. I talked to Brooke Horton at like 2 o'clock in the morning or some crazy time. Then I was like, I got to go to sleep after that conversation. This is crazy. All right. So, you always put me near the end, Summer. I don't know what that's about, but it's fine. It's fine. If you don't know who I am, I'm Heidi Bound. What's up, Gotham Gang? I see you in the house. Super excited that my team is here, and there are so many of you here. I've been with Paparazzi almost 6 years, which is kind of crazy when it comes out of my mouth. I have notes here. I was a teacher for over 2 decades, so I've got to look down to make sure I say what I want to say. I can't help myself. Unlike Lady M, I am structured with notes. Emily just puts it all out there. I am a Maven A-lister and the proud recipient of the Heidi Z necklace in 2018, a 3-figure bling boss. I was one of Paparazzi's, I like to say I was the first Black Diamond consultant and the first Pink Diamond consultant. The only reason I get to say that is because my last name is Bound. So alphabetically, I was the first one ever announced. But I like to say it, I don't know if Misty knows, that's part of my resume. So Black Diamond and Pink Diamond didn't exist when I started Paparazzi, and I went to my first convention, and that was pretty exciting. So the thing that I have to tell you, though, that I'm probably out of all of those things the most proud of, particularly as we talk about team building today, is that we are and correct me if I'm wrong, the last Crown Club 100 team standing at this particular moment. And there may be, I know there's others working for it, so I'm like, bring them in, let's all be there. But the other part of that that's super cool is that we hit Crown Club 75 and Crown Club 100 back-to-back months about 2 years ago. And then through COVID, et cetera, those numbers did fall. And last month, we finally crushed Crown Club. We hit 100 personally sponsored active again. And my team did it again this month or last month. So January and February. What's crazy about that, and something I'm really proud of too, is that my team, a Maven A-lister team, we have now, I think it's 1,605 people that have ever joined. 399 of them, today could be a big day for me, are my personally sponsored. So 25% of my team are my personally sponsored. Out of the almost 400 people that have ever joined under me, directly, they are still active. So that is something that I'm super proud of. And so with that being said, I'm going to tell you what not to do. I know they're like, oh God, this is why we put her last. So here's what people do. I'm going to kind of myth bust a little bit and kind of give you a little bit of a reality check. I'm going to tell you what not to do and then what to do. Here's what people say all the time when they're trying to build a team. Well, she's my best customer. She spends fill in the blank $150 a week. And why wouldn't she join my team? Holy heck, leave her alone. Okay. If she doesn't want to join your team, she wants to be your customer. As a person who sells a whole heck of a lot of jewelry, I need my customers. I got a gal that spends about $300 to $400 a week with me. She shops with my girl Courtney down there too. I said, Courtney, if we're going to talk about Paparazzi, and then we're not going to bug her. Okay, we're not going to bug her because I want her to spend $300 to $400 with me a week because I need customers. Okay, so I want you to be really cautious around blowing up the inbox of Susie Q just because she spends a lot of money with you. Okay, you heard Monica talk. If Monica was recruiting every single person that came to shop with her every single day, Monica would not be selling what she's selling. Neither would I, neither would Emily. So just be really, really careful around that. Now, are there those folks that spend a lot of cash who then will join your team? Absolutely. But I do think that it's hard to flip the switch sometimes from being, I call it the eBay high. Okay, remember in the day when everybody would shop eBay, right? Some people would, I mean, I guess they still do. I haven't in years, but, and people would, like you'd put that last little dollar amount in because you wanted the thrill of winning the auction. Okay, we've got those that shop with us. That's called urgency. That's why QVC uses the little dot on the bottom of the screen. As soon as it turns yellow, you say, oh my God, I need the shoes in all the colors, even if you don't, right? So please be very cautious of that. And it's going to lead me into the what to do. You need to know when people are interested in joining your team, why. You've heard that thread throughout this whole conversation with all of the leaders. Some people love to shop with us. Leave them be. I think, Misty, you talked about it, and I forget the term you used, but it was almost like they would guilt join, right? And that could be, I'm not sure if that's exactly what we said, but like that you're in their inbox enough that these folks will join your team because you keep asking them, and they feel kind of bad if they don't. And then when they get the starter kit, they don't go do the thing. And so they actually go away altogether. Ever had those? Self-reflect on that, okay? So here's what you need to do. You need to figure out when you are team building, the folks that truly want to be on your team for a variety of reasons, whether it's, you know, camaraderie, we have a book club, maybe they want to make cash, maybe they want, like my sister who's on here, shout out to Hillary, wherever she is amongst the masses. She joined Paparazzi so that my niece could go to tumbling lessons, right? Like there are reasons. Just because they spend a lot of cash may not be the reason. Be careful. Now, I do believe this 1,000,000%. And I was talking with Misty, I was like, I don't even know what to say in this call because I just kind of do my thing when I team build. But one of the things that I do is this. Here, I bet you some of you do this. No to me is no. Is if I ask somebody about joining my team and they straight up say, I am not interested, but I love shopping with you, I'm done. Hands off. Okay, I'm hands off. Now, am I going to keep sprinkling the breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel? Let's get you to the candy house. Maybe, right? I'm going to keep doing it. You might catch on. But what I do is this. If somebody doesn't say no, let's say when I was asking my sister, if my sister had said, hi, flat out no, like I'm busy, I like to shop. Okay, cool. I'm not in your inbox. I want you to stick around. But if she had said to me, I don't know, I'm a super busy mom of 4. Here's what some of you do. Oh gosh, she's really busy. She's not interested in this because she is really, really busy. Okay, she did not say no to you. Solve her problem. Go solve her problem. Okay, write that down, highlight it. Okay, you have got to be a story collector. I went one time, I was scrolling Facebook when I first really was understanding what paparazzi was, and I stopped on Emily, and Emily's one of my dearest friends, and I was like, that girl is talking about me on her show, right? Emily was talking about my teaching and how I taught in bad neighborhoods, et cetera. And it taught me something, it sparked something. Do you have stories in your back pocket? Are you a story collector? I don't have kids at home. When you teach for 23 years, that's sometimes is a conscious decision. But my sister has 4. And so when people say to me, I think I want to join paparazzi, but I am so busy with my kids, I solve the problem. I say, my sister has 4 kids at home and she's one of the top sellers in paparazzi. Let me tell you how she does it. Do you have stories? Do you? Because you're going to have the person that comes to you and says, I'd love to do this, but my husband doesn't support me. Have you heard it? Here's my answer. Show them the money. Show them the money, right? You start making that cash and going to the bank, he's going to probably support you a touch more, even if it's just because he stops complaining about the pink boxes coming. Okay. So you have got to be a story collector, folks. And when people say no, back off. Let them watch you. They may change their mind, but they're not going to change their mind when you're being annoying in their inbox. Okay. The folks that don't say no to you, but give you a reason why they think it won't work, solve it. Solve it for them. Does that make sense? Like write that down, really think that through. No is no is no, but anything else for me is fair game, right? Fair game. The other thing that we do We do opportunity calls, which reminds me that we didn't do one in February. Misty, don't be mad at me. But I said to Marty this morning, I'm like, well, we gotta be doing these calls this month, baby. We're gonna light it up on the team and get these calls going. And one of the things we do Zoom calls. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this, but the essence of the Zoom call is this. My team gets to invite folks to these Zoom calls. We talk about the business, we share stories as well. But what I do before the Zoom call, so let's say Juanita, who's on here. Hi, Juanita. If Heidi was my teacher, I would sit up straight and just be good. Thanks, Mom. So if Juanita's bringing her cousin to the Zoom call, Zoom calls for me as a leader are not just the Zoom call when we click Zoom and we get started. I'm doing about 2 hours of work before the call. Why? I'm going to message Juanita and I'm going to say, hey, Juanita, tell me about Susie. Tell me about your cousin. What's holding her back? Why do you think she wants to join this thing? I love that Marty Bound's doing dishes back there and like straight up like forgetting the fact that like he's back there doing dishes on the Zoom call. It's all cool. This is how we live. So I would say to her, like, what is it? Tell me about Susie, right? Oh, Heidi, she's got kids. She works a full-time job, whatever it is, right? Why do I do that? Because if Jenny Noecker's on the call, on the Zoom call with me as one of the leaders that's there, Jenny Noecker's got a full-time job and she's got kids. So I'm going to make sure that when I ask for my leaders and my Gotham Gang members to share some of their paparazzi journey, I better call on Jenny. Why? Jenny's going to share on the opportunity call about I gotta get rid of this. You're making me look at these comments, Monica Cox. So Jenny's going to share the opportunity about having a full-time job with kids at home, and Juanita's guest needs to hear that. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you've noticed, the thread of this whole thing is understanding why people want to join, what's holding them back, and what are you going to do to solve the problem? Those connections, hands down, before they even click the submit button on the paparazzi website, gets them to your team knowing that you understand them and you support them and you're ready to uplift them. And there you go.
I love that. And I do think that understanding, the other great thing about doing that the way Heidi is talking about too, is truthfully, it empowers your team too. Right? The way I'm successful in life, the way Heidi's successful in life are going to be two totally different paths. Our lives are quite different. Okay. But it doesn't mean her way or my way is better. It just means we both got to the same spot doing different things. And that's even cooler. So I also think the idea that you've got somebody on your team who can reach somebody, and they've got, it's same with talents, right? Somebody's got a talent, somebody is really good with people. And sometimes people try so hard, and guess what? They still suck with people, honestly, right? That's super blunt, but there are people who just aren't people, and they have to try super hard, but they'll get there. I love that it gives everybody a chance to shine where they shine. And what would normally be seen as an obstacle, right? Oh, she works full time and now she's got to try and do this, is actually a strength. And now that strength now helps somebody else see that they have massive potential. But if they feel like the only way to be successful in this business is to do exactly the way Misty Kirby did it, that's not going to work, right? There are going to be people who show up and hear me start talking. They're like, dude, I hate this girl. She is annoying. She's loud. I don't like her sweater, right? Like, what the heck's happening? Her kids are old. My kids are little. She doesn't like sleep. So that's stupid. I love sleep. Like, there'll be things that people are like, whoa, they immediately turn off. But by allowing everybody to tell their story their way, it's massively empowering to the team. And you can see that also in Heidi's retention of team. They are a part of it. It is a team game. Everybody matters. Their journey helps us all get together. And when we shine together. That is super important, like super important. So find everybody's strength on your team and let them even in team trainings, right? That same idea for team trainings, let them train on something that is what they do best. It could be something super simple, but everybody can contribute. And I love that she recognizes that from the very get-go and utilizes that to then build the team for somebody else. To not build, doing that is helping someone else. It's helping Heidi because they're under her team, but she's not trying to swipe them as a personally sponsored. She's not trying to navigate that. She's literally saying, I want this to be the most effective for everybody. How can I help you? And as a team, how do we help each other? And you want somebody in your corner, you best be in theirs. Yes, absolutely.
Well, and I thank you for that. And I think one of the, as you're talking, Misty, like the thing that's super important to remember is that kind of thing doesn't happen overnight. Okay. Because there's a lot to be said for the safety. I'll use the word safety for the lack of a better one on my team. Meaning, when we come to these Zoom calls, I know that when I get on a Zoom call, I have a way, like I had to teach like gang members' kids. I can suck you in, right? Like I got a way of doing that and how I speak. And I know that about myself. But there's within my team, they know if you are 4 levels below me and you come to the Zoom call and you bring your cousin, I am in no way, shape, or form am I there to take that person from you. Does that make sense? Right. And so my team knows that. And I say that I'm very candid about that at the beginning of the calls, but they also know, like, I am here to lift you, support you, help you, but not steal from you. And I think there's a mindset that sometimes we come into these things and sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, well, I'm bringing this recruit. And if this person who's a lead or 4 levels above or whatever it is starts to talk, they're going to leave me. Can you please have a little bit more confidence in yourself, folks? Right? Can you believe in what you're bringing to this thing? Because I'm not worried about anybody stealing my people, whether it's customers or it's people that are thinking about joining my team. And if they do, then I'm not their cup of tea. Like I'm not their girl, right? And have there been plenty of people that have joined, that I've talked to, that have joined under Courtney, under Hillary, under Jenny, my girls that are on here? Yes, win, win, win. So you got to work on also your folks knowing that they matter and that there's no drama, no nonsense, and it's safe to be on this team.
Well, and when Monica talked about cute and trustworthy, and it's all parts of your business. If they were a customer and they know you're trustworthy there, and then they show interest, like, again, your character does speak for who you are, and that it definitely will go all the way throughout. And as soon as your team, you show them that they're not there just for the almighty dollar and that they matter, they will also be on your side when you need them. And that it does take time. There's no way that will culture overnight, but nor should it. You clearly should not trust somebody overnight. If you do, heaven help us. Yeah.
Can I just say that when she says win, 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 she's not just meaning on her team. Like Kristen Ivanelli, all the people that you've heard talk, and there's one that talked that I don't know that I'm going to get to know. We genuinely want to see other people win, and these people want to see me win. Like they have all messaged me before and said, way to go, Monica, or, hey, what are you doing? Is there anything I can help you with? Can I help you with the training? Can I help you with this? And vice versa. And I've been here for 5 years, and there was a moment in time where it was not like that. And I thought, like, gasp, like, what the heck is going on? Why, this is not paparazzi. Why is this going on? And it's back, and it's so just, I have chills going through my body right now talking about it, like goosebumps, because it is now back, and these people want to see others win. I'm not on their team, and they still want to see me win, and vice versa. So it's so important for you to find someone else that you can see win that's not on your team, and get back and forth with them, because it's a humbling feeling to genuinely be excited and happy for somebody else, and vice versa.
And truthfully, again, we all win together. So somebody being able to hit a personally sponsored active number that they struggled with, or somebody may be on here who does not have a team member. Listen, everybody on this call is either excited to have their first team member or remembers what it feels like. And we are all here like, yeah,
Yes.
it's amazing. You want to be able to cheer people on for any success they have and be okay that if you are not there yet, you're going to keep doing the things and all the things to push to get there. But everybody needs somebody to inspire them. You got to have somebody has to keep running for the top, and they have to keep raising the bar, because that's who we all need to run towards, right? And you're all on here because you want to learn and you want to be better. Truthfully, one of the best ways is to build camaraderie and be able to be somebody's cheerleader today and always, because there will be a time you're not going to win every day. You're not. But the days when you do win and somebody's telling you, hey, good job, you know what that feels like. You know how it made a difference. And the day you need to be picked up, they'll do the same for you, and vice versa.
Yes.
It's massive. But I do, from a corporate standpoint, I also love that these 10 panelists are willing to also give up their time, of which we full well know is very precious. The one thing you won't get back is time, and they're willing to do it because most of you are not teams or could be, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they're willing to share because their information only makes paparazzi better. But they are proof that they are walking, breathing, living beings of the mission statement, and their choice is to help empower you to be better in any way, shape, or form. The fact that they're willing to give time when time is the very thing that they have the least of is proof of love of what they do and love for this business. But that really starts with you. So panel, first of all, thank you. All right, who's next?
All right, Heather Cleveland, we're going to hear from you next.
All right, let me see if I can.
Oh, can we have you raise your hand too? So it pops it. Oh,
I
there you
did
go.
it. Yay. Okay. So my name is Heather Cleveland. I am a Maven A-lister. I have a team of 1,533, 273 personally sponsored, Crown Club 75, 4-time Bling Boss, and Pink Diamond. So, recruiting. It's actually one of my favorite things. I actually take it as a challenge. I love it. And I know some of you don't, but maybe after today, you'll love it as much as I do. One of the things I want you to think about is all of the people you've heard today. We all have a different vibe, every single one of us. I think you can kind of feel something. We all send out something a little bit different. And your vibe attracts your tribe. And that's really true in recruiting. And so be 100% authentically you. And it will come back to you. Those are going to be the people that you attract on your team. And it's kind of funny because I think it was just yesterday, I got my business insights on my business page, and I attract I don't know, 90-some% women from the ages of 45 to 64. And I thought it was kind of funny because that's exactly who are on my lives. That's, women who are 45 to 64, mostly grandmas. I'm a grandma, right? And I thought it was funny. Your vibe attracts your tribe. And that's very, very much true. And those are the people that you are going to attract, not only on your lives for your sales, but those are the people. And I think if I looked at my, and actually I'm probably, after I get off the live, I'm actually going to go look at my team, but that's probably the majority of my team are probably women who are ages 45 to 60 something. I actually have a lady in her 70s who lives in a retirement home, and she sells jewelry. The little old ladies go knocking on her door, and she sells right from her little retirement home, and she just loves it. So be authentically you when it comes to recruiting, and you will find that the people will come to you, who you are. Sell to recruit. Everybody else has stressed it. I 100% am going to stress it. It doesn't matter how you sell. I have a lady on my team who absolutely kills messenger parties. She just kills them, and she recruits through messenger parties. So it doesn't matter how you're selling. But you have, I really firmly believe if you want to have a team, you have to sell. It's crucial. And then Misty said to me one time, she probably doesn't even remember this conversation, but I was going along, I was recruiting, I was doing great. And I just hit this wall and I just stopped recruiting. And I was like, Misty, I just don't know what is going on. I have no idea what I'm doing. And she said, what are you doing different? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, like, duh, Misty, what am I doing different? And I had to like come home. I think we were on a trip and I had to come home and I had to think about it. And I was like, what am I doing different? And I started to I had to really self-reflect on this. And I looked through my posts and I looked through I went through and started looking about what was I doing differently? And the truth is that I've always recruited very simply. I've just asked, and that's it. I have always just very simply recruited. Have you ever considered joining Paparazzi? And I know that sounds so simple. And what I had started doing was I glorified it. I started telling people everything Paparazzi started doing for me. Right? Oh my God, we went to the Dominican. I bought a house. I bought a car. I, paid off my daughter's college. I started throwing in all these. Did you see the gifts Paparazzi sent me? And it was like, and every single thing I had said was true. But the people I was trying to recruit, that didn't interest them in the least. Right? And I realized that I wasn't listening to them. I just wasn't asking them. I wasn't putting out there. I wasn't even I was telling them all about Paparazzi and everything I was saying was true. But I was giving them paragraphs of information. I was like giving them the book of Paparazzi. And when I went back and reread it, I was like, oh my God, I would have never have joined if I had read this. This is ridiculous, Heather. This is insane. My personal recruiting tip is just to simply ask the question, have you ever considered joining Paparazzi? And that's it. Leave it at that very simple statement, right? Because they're gonna answer yes or no, right? And if they answer yes, that's great. That's so awesome. What is it that interests you? Because that next statement will give you every answer you need for your next statement, right? I would love to make some extra money for my daughter's ballet. I would love to join for the discount, right? If they answer you yes, they have some information on Paparazzi, right? So that's my tip. That's my tip. And the other thing I know Heidi talked about discount buyers. I have actually had great success with discount buyers. I feel like for me, and maybe it's because of my age bracket, I'm a little bit older than Miss Heidi. I got about 10 years on you, girlfriend. So I think for me, and I think probably for my age, it's kind of funny, but I think for me, I have a little bit success with discount buyers because I think it's almost like a safety net for them. It's kind of like, I'll say yes to discount buying because it's safe. And then they end up getting their kit and they're like, oh, actually, you know what? I think I want to sell. And it's almost like it was safe to say, I'll do it for the discount. And then I have no idea, but I'm going to tell you, I had a lady join in September who totally said, I'm only going to buy for the discount. And she legitimately is throwing down 2,000 to 2,500 PV a month and is killing this business, but totally ran with the whole discount thing. So, I mean, I take it for what it's worth, but I kind of feel like sometimes people just need that discount thing. So simplify recruiting, and listen to people when they give you their answer. And I think that's it. So.
And even when you're making a post, if you
Yes.
don't say, have you ever thought about doing this? Have you ever thought about joining Paparazzi? If you just post the promotion, do they even know that applies to them? They very well could not. That's great that it comes in a starter kit. How do I get a starter kit? Have
Right.
you ever, even just to add that simplistic question into what you're doing can make a difference in how they interact, but that door for Heather is always open.
Right. And the other,
There's nothing about Heather that is, obviously, you can tell this, right? There is nothing about her that is pushive or abrasive or aggressive in any way, shape, or form.
no.
So I feel like the idea of being like, well, you really should do this. I mean, come on now. Like, you told me no 3 times. When are you going to pony up? I mean, you would be amazing at this. It's ridiculous that you don't join. That is never, ever, 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 ever going to come out of her mouth. Not even if it was the last thing on earth she had to say. She's not saying it. But I feel like because it's constantly door open, door open, door open, door open, door open, people feel very safe to ask a question and then dabble and then ask a question. I'm not going through the door yet. I'm just going to ask a question, right? And then shed a little bit, not all the way, ask another question and then go back. So I feel like even just adding that simplistic question to what you're already doing in team building can change the entire outcome and make it more effective, because you post things but don't actually ask them if they've thought about joining or if they're interested or if they want more information. You don't ask that half the time.
Yeah, no, I think it's really important too. And the other thing I will add is that it's very important to do it personally and get in their inbox. I send personal messages. These come in the form of personal messages. I go across and a while ago, I don't know if it's still a thing, it's called green lighting, and I still do it. If you go to your instant messages and you look and see who's available across your instant messages, it'll tell you who's online. And I'll look who's online and I'll say, oh, I haven't seen that person in a while. And oh, that mom, oh, she just had a baby, and I'll look and I'll be like, oh yeah, you know, she had once was interested, or she was once a shopper, and I'll just send a message. Have you ever considered becoming a paparazzi consultant? Right? What is the worst thing you're going to get? No. Like, I'm not afraid of the word no. I'm not. Or they're just not going to answer at all, right? But a personal message goes a long way. And I didn't send them a paragraph. Misty, what did you do differently, Heather? Oh my God, I sent them a whole dang book. Like,
that same theory works for customers. You want to build customers? Start today by going to thank 10 customers for being on your live, and then do it again tomorrow, different customers, and do it again. And if there's somebody you haven't seen, hey, just checking in, haven't seen you for a while, just want you to know I miss seeing you. Nothing about jewelry. I miss seeing you. Or I saw you had a baby since the last time I saw you. Hope you're all doing well. Right? Leave it at that. That is that personal touch all the way through in those messages will even bring customers back to you who have lost finding you. They can't find you because you switched to a business page or you fell off their feed and they just can't see you. That is critical. So
Yes.
all right.
Well, thank you. All right, we're going to hear now from Erica.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me say you did it, boo. You work this business like a boss. Congratulations to each and every one of you for being on here today. My name is Erica Cole. I too am an independent consultant. I currently hold the rank of iconic impressionista. I joined this phenomenal business in February of 2017. So last month was my 6-year anniversary. I think I'm the last speaker for the day, and I told Summer she saved the best for last. So so just want to tell you a little bit about me. My former career was in financial management and led several different divisions. And so I kind of brought that over into this business. I recruit a little different from a lot of the people that you've heard today. And I struggle with the personable side of this. They told you at the beginning, a lot of people handle it as business. Some people, there's some people that want to get into this for friendships and relationships. And I'm like, oh, I don't want any more friends. And so that is something that, there's some people on this call, almost all of the people that have spoken today, they have put me in a friendship chokehold and I had to just let it go. And I'm like, oh my God, I got all these girlfriends now. What in the world am I going to do with these ladies? And so it's been an incredible journey. But I want to tell you, just for transparency, what got me into this business and one of the things that I use to market is attraction marketing. My upline is one of my girlfriends, Alyssa Leva. I did really well in corporate America. And so for me, direct sales and selling $5 business is kind of like, okay, whatever, you know. But her attraction marketing for me was the fact of me seeing her collages, her promotions, and she was going to Dominican Republic, and, you know, it was all those kind of things. So from the perspective of the business piece of it, it was intriguing for me. It wasn't about relationships. It wasn't about the $5 jewelry. And so that's the type of attraction marketing that I've kind of ran with since I've been in the business. With that being said, transparent, you know, I try to make sure people understand that the money that they can make in the business. And so since I joined this business in February of 2017, I grossed over $7.1 million in a $5 jewelry business. $7.1 million between my commission and my sales since I started this business. And so when I'm talking to people about this business, I'm transparent in that. But I was also transparent when I did my first live and I made $55 in 28 minutes. So as the journey goes on, that's one of the things that I make sure that it's, you know, realistic to my potential. I talk about the fact that, you know, you can make money. I tell people, you know, you sell 10 pieces of jewelry in an hour, you earn, you know, your take home pay is $22.50. So I'm always talking about numbers. I'm always breaking it down to dollars and cents. And then even with that being said, as far as growing the team, when I recognize that in this industry, and studying your craft is so very important. We're in a direct sales organization. This industry, the retention is always like this. So I already know that me adding one person a month isn't going to get it. I already know that me adding, you know, 5 people in a year isn't going to get it. So I'm thinking about that. And I'm thinking about my personal retention. For every 3 people that I add, one's going to work the business. One's going to actually work the business for every 3 people that I add. When my team is building, you know, for however many team, and I have a downline of 41,000 in my downline. There's only going to be a 1/4 of that that's actually going to work the business. So we're always growing, we're always supporting. And for me, I have to grow my front line. But again, because of the fact that there's only a few people that I can manage at a time, I have to set personal goals for myself. I came into this year, last year, my recruiting sucked. You know, I wasn't intentional about my recruiting. Life was happening. I went through a lot of things in, you know, 2021, and I just kind of pull back and distance myself. And so I only added 19 people in the entire year of 2022. I came to the realization at the end of November, you need to get your act together, because there's a lot of people, not just, it wasn't about me, it was about my team. There's a lot of people that depend on you. So get your head in the game, get your butt up and start working your business again. When I'm talking about working, I was selling, you know, I was visible in that sense, but I wasn't there for my team. I wasn't, you know, doing trainings like I had normally done in the past and celebrating my team like I had done in the past. And my team felt it. What you have to understand, if you're on here and you're wanting to grow a team, you have to understand your actions roll downhill. Roll downhill. So every when you disappear, when you're not recruiting, when you're not selling, when you're not showing up, it rolls downhill. And I saw it. And so I had a few people that reached out to me and said, "E, what's going on? Like, we need you. Like, we're losing our momentum. You know, people's lives were being impacted from my disengagement to my team." And so I had to shake up. I'd be like, you know what? And so now my mindset for 2023 is, now I got to make up for 2022 and 2023. So I have a personal goal, not just to recruit for 2023, but I got to go get the people that I missed in 2022. So again, I recruited 19 people last year. Between January and February, I'm already at 31 people, because I'm intentional about what I have to do. And now I'm going back and saying, okay, there were people that messaged me. Literally, I have people that messaged me in 2022 that commented on a reel, "I'm interested." I didn't follow up with them. I didn't follow up with them. I didn't send them anything. I didn't call them. So now I'm having to go back and find those individuals and saying, hey, you know, following up with people, getting in people's inboxes, saying, can we have a conversation? Can we chat? And then even being more intentional about my team, you know, showing up. I had thousands of people that joined last year. And this is what we all have to understand as leaders. I can talk about this business. I'm comfortable with talking about the business, and I understand how the business works. I'm not shy, you know, and so sometimes our team members even need us to help them grow. I think a couple people talked about, you know, their interest calls or their opportunity calls that they have for their team. And I think that's one of the reasons my team has been so successful, is because we started that in 2017. We have interest calls that we as leaders, some of us get together and we have, you know, a call Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so our team gets to utilize that call to send their potentials on there to ask questions. And we're knowledgeable about the business. And so again, we're sharing our story, we're answering their questions, we're telling them to follow up with whoever sent them to the call. And so they're comfortable with using that tool. Because some people are afraid to say, hey, will you join my team? So we'll say, okay, we'll just post this, and then maybe they'll message you and say, we're interested in that information. So be intentional even about not just growing wide, but growing long. And as you're learning about the team building, you'll understand about the legs. You need people growing in teams. Okay, so you want as many legs as possible, yes, but you also want those legs to have some type of foot standing. Because I recognize again that 1 out of every 3 people that I bring on is not going to work the business. But if I'm intentional about helping them grow those legs, even if that person leaves, I have a leg there to support my entire funnel. Okay, so I am not one of those people that I just work with my directs. I do have a chat with my directs, especially the new people. I'm working, you know, independently with them. I also have a group with my directs, and I do personal challenges for them. But I work with my entire team. I reach around, I introduce myself to my entire downline. On the 10th of the month, I pull a report for the previous month. Everybody that joined, I send them an email introducing myself, letting them know how they can get in contact with me, letting them know about the team page, giving them a link to join the team page. Because let's be honest, there's some people that are on our team that think they own people, right? This is my person. You can't talk to my person. It doesn't work like that for my team. And so I reach around, I reach down, I recognize people that are in, you know, down in my downline that may be 20 levels down, you know. I call their names independently and they love it. And so it's not about, again, just my directs, it's making sure that my whole team has access, you know, to have conversation with me, to ask questions, to hear my training. So that's really, really big if you're talking about building a team. I'm trying to make sure I don't cover anything that anybody else is going over. And I offer team building challenges. So for me, I even know for me, I am very, very competitive, right? I'm sports, I love. And so there's some people on this call right now that shall remain nameless that know that I'm very, very competitive. And so they'll use that to get me fired up. I recognize the fact that because I'm that way, I have a lot of people on my team that are competitive. So I use that and say, hey, so-and-so has added so many people. What's going on with you? You're going to let them do you like that? Because I know that works for me, right? And I'm like, okay, now they're like, wait a minute. Or if I say their name and I say, hey, you know, you're only one person from, you know, hitting director. I know if I said their name, oh my God, you said my name, let me get my butt in action. So you have to, again, know your downline, know what works for you guys, and it puts you into gear. I came into this year with some personal goals for myself, but now I'm in a group with these crazy individuals that have been talking today. And so they push my buttons, you know, they'll call me out and I'm like, dang, now I got to do even more. I was going to chill today and I really was going to watch that Netflix show, but I can't, I got to call these other people, you know. I tell Emily Brinson sometimes, get off my phone, like understanding too, your surroundings, okay? Your circle is very, very important. If you got people that are in your ear every day talking about the fact that they missed one piece of jewelry or something that sold out, or the fact that, you know, they had to wait in line at Empower Me Pink or whatever, you got to start making sure that you're around people that love it and have the passion that you desire to have or that you have. That's so very important as you're building your team. And one thing, as you're bringing on these new people and you're excited and they see your passion and they see your love and desire for this business, then you add them to a chat with a bunch of negative Nancy's. If that was me, I'm out. Delete. How do I get out of here? Why am I in this? Why am I in this room? It's too much craziness going on here. So be careful about even with that. As you're adding, you set some boundaries, you know, even in your chat rooms, you want to make sure that you keep it positive, uplifting, encourage them. Things like, you know, hey guys, for the month of March, you know, what are your recruiting goals? And, you know, I'm giving out a fashion fix to everyone that, adds 2 business partners, small things to show appreciation. You know why you guys are on this call? Because you worked for it. Somebody gave you a challenge and you said, I want it. So don't act like challenges don't matter. Don't act like incentives don't matter, because they do. So even at the level that you're at, whether it's a $5.95 shipping back office credit, whether it's a big boss, you did it, boo, you say their name or whatever, people like to be recognized. They like for some type of incentive, some type of reward for even, what you literally have to do is trick them right now. I call it the paparazzi chokehold, right? Y'all are on here because you wanted to be on this call, but you did something to grow your business in an effort to get on this call. So you have to be intentional even about your incentives and your challenges and your recognition for your team. You have to trick them into success. And so keep that in mind as you're growing your team. Again, not just your front line, growing your entire downline, being transparent, using attraction marketing. Several people have said it. Why does somebody want to join your team? Stop being shy about the fact of what paparazzi has done for you. I don't want people to think I'm bragging. I don't want people to think I'm whatever. So the reason we follow success, the reason we follow different organizations, the reason we shop at different organizations, because we know the value that it has. Show your business value and don't be afraid of that. Okay. If I would have, saw Alyssa posting and saying, you know what, paparazzi is kind of great for me, but I'm not bragging about it being great. So just diminish the fact that it's great, but hey, I just kind of like it. You have to be confident in the fact that it's great. You have to be confident in the fact that you love it. You have to be confident in the fact of what it's done for you. You got to be confident that it paid for your eggs. You got to be confident that it paid for the gas in your car. You got to be confident that they got you a new wig. You got to be confident in the fact that your nails are cute. Like, show confidence. People love winning. The only people that don't like winners are people that don't win. Let me say that again for the people in the back. The only people that don't like winners are people that don't win. Stop worrying about the people that don't like to win. Every movement is a win. It's not about, I had a goal last month to bring in 10 business partners. I got to be honest, I lowballed it because I had brought in 21 the first month and I was tired. I was like, I need a break, right? I got 8 last month. But now guess what I'm doing this month? My goal is 20. I'm going to get 20 business partners. I'm putting everyone in a paparazzi chokehold and they're going to join my team. I'm going to bug, I'm going to boss, I'm going to bully 20 people into joining my team this month because I have a personal goal. And I've been challenged to do something that I'm like, there's no way I'm not meeting that challenge. It's just that starts here. You have to believe it, you have to say it, you have to challenge yourself, and then you got to get your butt into action. Okay, so I've already added 2 people today. Now I got 18 more to go before the end of the month. All right, so that's my spiel for today. Yeah.
I love it. So one of the things I feel like in Summer, as he was talking, said, you know what, one of my favorite things about Erica is she'll just call everyone out and herself out. If you look at these leaders, they know when they misstep and they are willing to recorrect. If you think at some point in this business, you're not going to get tired, at some point, you're not going to get beaten down, and at some point you just want to lay on the floor and cry, guess what? Lay on the floor, cry, and then get the heck up. But there's not one person who's talked today who's going to be like, oh yeah, I have never felt exhausted. I have never felt defeated. So weird. You do? Oh, I'm sorry that you do. No, not me. Over here, rainbows, berries. And I love rainbows and butterflies, right? Like I can, but have I laid on the floor and cried? Oh yeah. There have been days when Summer is literally the only one who can come in and be like, all right, dude, we got to work this out, right? Because if you are doing everything you need to do, things will work in your favor. I will tell you that the times you feel most defeated and most exhausted are actually when you're not winning. And normally you need to look at your business and say, what did I change? More importantly, what did I stop doing? If something is working well, you've heard all of these amazing ideas.
implement those things that you believe, and I would try all the things. Literally, I am not kidding. I would try not all at once, not all at once, people, but I would try everything that's been talked about. But do not stop doing the things that are making you effective now to try something new. It will be the biggest mistake. But I love that Erica, when she misses, she just, if I had missed last month, right? And she still has 2 more and she's short of her goal, it's not just like, okay, better luck next time. She does say better luck next time. I'm going to give it all I've got, but I'm going to make up for lost time. It was a goal. I came short, but guess what? I'm still running for that and I've got time to make it up. That is a critical mindset of somebody who wins. If you hit the goal and we're not finished with the month, amp it up. If you don't believe you can and somebody says, I believe in you, trust them. Trust the fact that they believe in you and give it a try. It'd be the craziest thing if you actually just tried believing in yourself. Heather said it. What's the worst case that happens? You get a no? What's the worst case that happens? You run for 2 personally sponsored, getting two more personally sponsored and you get 1. Or maybe you get nobody, but all those seeds are planted for this month. Do not underestimate the power of doing, and the rest will start to roll. What you do today, you will see the effects of in 6 months. But I can tell you specifically with these panelists, I have watched them do things and literally execute on a dime because they believe in each other, which allows them to believe in themselves. And if she can do it, I can do it. Yo, wait a second. If she can do it, I can do it. Well, if she's doing that, I got to do that. Right. And if you're not doing it, you're going to do it with us. And that literally has had them have direct results within a month to 6 week time period. I would normally tell you that's crazy, but I'm watching them do it. Today is the day. You have got to start today. Now we've had lots of questions, but I feel like we're going right up until, listen, we know how this works.
Yeah.
At least time, like you got to get
Real
your
quick,
samples together.
real quick,
Yes.
real quick. Let me be clear.
Okay.
I missed my 10 by 2 intentionally because of a lofty goal that I gotta now hit. It wasn't because I wasn't gonna do it. I just intentionally.
I wasn't intentional, E. Why you
I
tell
need
people?
Monica to be clear. I need Monica to be clear that second place is not an option for me. I was intentional about losing those 2 individuals, but you wait and see.
Look at Monica.
Listen, the 2 things that she said that get me are she holds herself accountable, plain and simple. She holds herself accountable, but she's holding herself accountable too that she was sitting there watching Netflix and she has somebody that's going to say, get up. Get up. So if you don't have that person, no matter what team they're on, find the person that you don't really want around you. That one that tells you to get up and you're like, oh my God, here she comes again. Those 2 things you need, self-accountability and the person that is on your butt, period. Those are the 2 things she said that I'm like, boom, I have that, I need it, and it keeps me going.
And I think you need to be that for somebody else. Like the door swings both ways. And you will find yourself, when you can find those 2 things, you will find yourself surrounded by people who make you better. There is no like when Erica's saying, like, if they're negative, she jumping out. Listen, if someone is just complaining for no reason, get them the heck out of your chat. I said you can do that. It is not a right to be with people if you're negative. You are welcome to send me a private message. You're welcome to email me. Good luck finding my email. That's fine. Do that. But like, I don't have time to hear you sit and complain about the very thing that feeds my family. I want to be able to be surrounded by people who love me, who believe in me, who believe in this mission, who believe in this product, who believe in this company, and who believe in humanity, because we're going to do good things in the world, right? Are we not? That is part of our mission. You can choose who you surround yourself with. So when you're choosing somebody who calls you and says, get up, You will need to trust them wholeheartedly because Monica's right. Some days you're going to be like that freaking right? And you're ticked. But the truth of the matter is the next day you're going to be like, thank you. I love you. I'm grateful for you. We need those people. So this is what we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to show you a few sneak peeks because I feel like you should be able to have those. We've taken a list of your questions and we'll get it back to the leaders, and hopefully that's a thing that they can like help do in team trainings or different things. And you do have uplines all sitting on here who are very skilled. Listen, if you were invited to this call, the person that invited you is sitting with the best of the best, and quite frankly is the best of the best in paparazzi. So they can answer a lot of those questions that you asked, or at least it maybe not specific to that person, but in a lot of ways, they are a wealth of information. So go back and ask them, but we'll also let everybody know the questions just so that we can filter through, and it's great, right? It's good to know what we need to train on and all of those things. So we're going to do these sneak peeks, and then panel, we need you to stay on for a second.
Yeah, so if when after the sneak peeks, we'll have everybody get off except for those of you that were on the panel. We'll like you to stay on for just a little bit longer.
Okay, so here's how it's going to work. This camera is not great for jewelry because it's not intended to be, but listen, I sent a message at 6:30 this morning. I'm like, somebody get me a new freaking camera now, because I want you to see the color of these items. You can take a picture, you can share it. Do not get my face in it, okay? I'm going to hold it. I want you to be able to see the jewelry, but it's not going to be perfect for sneak peeks because, again, this camera is not intended for that. But I should show you something fun, and this is not necessarily intentional. I actually picked this sweater today, okay? I also have on, you can't see them, but I have on Chucks that are the same, like a camel color, okay?
They could sell my view.
But I have brown, this is brown because I wanted it to pull a little bit more boho because I wanted layering and I knew this necklace was coming on, okay? Turns out yellow and purple are complementary colors. So I actually, this was not for the live, but it turns out to be a very helpful way to show you layering. So these two chokers are already available online, okay? This is no lie. I have 15 of these sitting on my desk, or this one, because this is how much I love this choker, and I knew both of my daughters were going to steal it and their friends would steal it, and then I would not be left with enough, and I want to be able to throw some, so I always have a backup, right? Are you with me? Like, I love this choker. So I layered two. This is the earring that you saw yesterday, correct? Amethyst and jade. So all three of these items are available. This is in the center, and this is a choker with amethyst stones. Okay, it matches that earring perfectly. It is scattered. You've got these silver bars. It is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so here is an option for layering where I literally did 4. This is one of the things I was talking about at Empower Me Pink. I also took the sunset, you know, the triple sunset silver that went with the black and brown acrylic from last month. I actually took that 3-bar. I had that on originally because I'm not coming to work without jewelry on, but I needed this one, right? So I actually had that on, and I feel like if I took off one of the chokers and layered those through, that could be really cute, or just did the stone with that. So this one is coming. It's good to notice and good to tell your customers as you are doing pre-claims. You're going to see things coming, like this is coming today. It matches that earring. So if they pre-claim that earring, this is a good way to show a personal touch. Hey, I have this choker. I don't know if you've seen it, but it matches perfectly. You might really love it. Go check out my pre-claims. This is also a fun one. So this is a multi-stone cuff. So you're going to see brown, blue, orange, white, and yellow. You can see all the detail, right? That is a beautiful, let me get out of the way so you can take a picture. A beautiful piece. This is a thick cuff, meaning it's going to come all the way around, and it's quite thick. It's not massively thick this way, but it's definitely dense, which I think is really, really pretty. This will also hold its shape if it's going against something, right? Like it will hold against blazers or against like more of a flowy boho because of the thickness this way, like the height. All right. This is a fun one. You actually saw this on a flat lay, okay, when we did the color photos, but I feel like this is just beautiful. So around the outside, you've got the fuchsia rhinestones. Right here in the middle, we've got the light pink. So it ombres from the inside out. It allows you to pair a lot of different accessories with it. So if you wanted to play on the fuchsia, you could add, you know, a fuchsia necklace, or maybe you've got a fuchsia ring, then with silver, or you wanted to play on the light pink, we call that light rose. Either way, you've got that fun way to combine them in one piece and then pick up the color and punch it out in others. Now, this is such a beautiful ring. You've seen it in another color, but I love this. So this, see what I'm saying? This is why I sent a message like, come on, get me a different camera. This looks like crap in this, but trust, oh, there it goes a little bit better. So this is white and it has gold foil, okay, inside of it. And then the side is just wide, shiny gold. You'll also see the little tiny flecks of glitter in there. So in this particular case, you know, the gold moon phase necklace that just came out with spring. This is a fun way to add on to that piece to be able to take it to a different, so if you think about looking at the night sky and a little bit of the glimmer that happens, right? Or the play on light, the idea of like moons and suns have light with them. I feel like this is a fun way to pull it in to kind of play on that, but not in dark tones. I also feel like this is a good way. Summer's wearing a lot of gold chains today. So like she's got them layered. This is a fun piece to be able to add a little bit of color, but it's still a neutral. But this actually looks really expensive on and it's fun. I think people underestimate this style of ring, but the white and gold gives you tons of things to be able to pair it with, especially based on recent new releases within corporate from the spring. Okay, last but not least, this is such a fun, let me, hold on. I actually dropped this when I was bringing it in because I don't know, it's that day. So this is actually, you're going to see that really light spearmint pearl, okay? And then the same color in the clear beads. And then we've got this white deface. This is actually the more of a light glass-like material. I can only think of the word in Chinese. I don't know why I can't think of what it is in English right now. But you're going to get that high bounce, okay? That white's just going to get a little bit of shimmer, which I think is important. Then there's a teeny tiny bit of an iridescent overlay, more just like a prismatic hue, which is really fun paired with the green, but you would never call it iridescent. It's so subtle if you're just looking at it. But I feel like this open wire structure allows these beads to kind of float over the top of the patterns. Okay, so these again are items and many more. My gosh, today is good, guys. Remember, Empower Me Pink exclusives. If you went to Empower Me Pink, those are going to be tomorrow. Start sharing that out with your customers. There's lots of beautiful images, a pretty video, so many things that you have available to share. Know you're loved and cared about. We appreciate you very much. I promise we're in your corner. We eat, sleep, and breathe paparazzi. We do this because we love you. And I know that sounds crazy. I think sometimes they're like, how can you love people you don't know? And to be honest, I can tell you that with this position or with leadership in general, these people who are sitting on the panel, the leaders who invited you here to this live today, everyone who is in a leadership role can tell you that they love the people they help, even when they have never met them. And proof is if they are working to build this business and sacrificing something that they want to help others achieve, in my opinion, that is love. So know that they also sacrifice a lot to be able to give opportunities to their team, to be able to direct them, to be able to help. And they are here to help you. We would love nothing more than for all of you to hit the goal that you want for this month. So if you do not have a goal, I'm telling you right now, leave this live, go write a personally sponsored goal. Maybe that's add one teammate. Maybe that's I'm going to make phone calls and check on my personally sponsored now because I want to make sure I have 4 personally sponsored active, or I want to make sure I have 10 personally sponsored active. But you should have a team building goal, okay? and you should have a sales goal. And both should push you to be uncomfortable. And if you swing and miss, you still swung the bat. And if you hit it and you've got time to spare, raise the bar. It is critical that it's March 1st. This call was placed on March 1st for a reason. You have an entire month. And listen, you have epic promotions, a multifaceted promotion this month, which is not easy to do, people, okay? You are set up for success. You've learned things today. You have the groundwork in front of you. You've got leaders who have shown you the path. Run and follow them and you'll be A-okay. But most importantly, know you're loved and cared about. We appreciate you being here. Panel, stay here for a minute. Everyone else, love your guts.
See ya. Let me start. Figure out how. Did you mute yourself?
Hey, Summer, do you want us all to just jump off and then the panel come back on? Because if you have people that are not still here, like walked out of the room, their thing is not going to go away.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be better. That's great. Thank you. Thank you.